now. Pull up a chair and join us in the Club. Here with episode 11 of our homebrewed 5th edition D&D campaign, the Chaoslands. Clearly, so much chaos. As you can see, due to COVID precautions and some scheduling conflicts, we're having to go remote for a few weeks. But we can't wait to get back together in person and play at the same table again. For now, this remote streaming solution has kind of worked for us, so we're going to stick with it. As always, we have a handful of quick announcements before we start. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's right now. And our WODs are uploaded to YouTube every Friday. We also do reruns on our Twitch channel every Thursday morning and Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Give us a follow down below to get a notification when we're about to go live. While you're checking out the links below, be sure to follow us on all of our social medias, our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, for all of the latest news and schedule updates, as well as some awesome character art, profiles, and other fun things coming in the future. Also, even though we won't be using it remotely, I'll still give a quick shout out to Syrinscape, because epic games need epic sound. Syrinscape is a digital tool with a collection of amazing sound sets and music that we use to improve the ambiance of our gaming table and our stream. If you're looking for a way to improve the immersion in your RPG game, go check them out at Syrinscape.com. Alright. Unless, are there any other announcements? If not, let's get started on episode 11 of the Chaoslands. Where last we left off, our adventurers, joined by a smooth-talking gunslinger named Alistair, had been on the trail of an old acquaintance of theirs, a gnome engineer by the name of Nipnor, who'd gone missing a few nights ago alongside a few of Alistair's companions. Visiting his apartment, the group found that they weren't the only people looking into Nipnor, and managed to tail a couple of members of the Silent Razors back to a warehouse where they had been holed up. Based on their past history with this criminal organization, our group of adventurers confronted the members of the gang sneaking into the warehouse, and the party seemed to have a firm upper hand on the situation until the leader of the bandit group emerged from the window of the warehouse's office and began to rain bullets down upon them. As they held their ground and the situation began to look more and more dire for the Razors, the leader, by the name Galeron, whose gear and fighting style looked fairly familiar to Alistair, decided to cut his losses and escape, leaving behind an explosive alchemical device as a parting gift. Recovering from the consequences of this explosion, both physical and mental in some cases, and making sure that their target Nipnor was all right, spent some time looking through the warehouse while Alistair and his companions departed and headed off to a prior engagement, asking you all to come visit them at a place called Sophistication in Ward 2. You all, however, were a little bit more focused on getting Nipnor back to the Big One's home in Ward 1, and went there first. Upon arriving, you found that the Big One's father, Yaniwak, had an unexpected guest over, someone he had reached out to on your behalf, to try and find a mutually beneficial solution to the problems in Ward 8. The current elected chief engineer of Schema herself, Harriet Halfstep. After questioning and gauging your trustworthiness, loyalty, and true intent, she was finally convinced by Sparkeye to work with you all, since your plan involved researching the lightning rods, something that she was very interested in, as her father, the Primarch of Schema, Hammond Halfstep, has been missing for the past month, since he claimed to see some visions or so in the storm. So, agreeing to work with you, she turned to you all and asked you for a name to put on the paperwork designating you all as official subcontractors of the chief engineer in this project, and give you more permission to act and move about more freely in the city and a little bit more of a higher standing as a group, so to speak.
Name?
Agnew, I believe you had a
The Dragon
suggestion.
Slayers?
Hold on, hold on. Let's can we take a little sidebar? Can we like get in a little huddle?
Sure. I'll just sit right here, and Janowak just like, more tea, and they start like he starts pouring out another cup of tea for the two of them. As currently you're sitting in the sitting room of Janowak's and the Big One's home.
Guys,
It's kind of cramped with all of you in here. There's probably not that much room for guests, but
we need a name. Quick, what did you say? Dragon Slayer?
Oh, I think that's quite fitting.
There's
Have you slain
Okay.
any dragons, big lad?
I mean, we
No,
could.
but we certainly could try. I'm not sure they exist, but
Those are just myths, legends. I don't think there's any around.
Never heard of any.
Okay, what other ideas do we have? Timond?
I don't know, lass. I'm a big fan of iron. That's in my name.
That's true. Iron is what kind of brought us all together. Arkmir, what do you think?
How about the Iron Will?
Who is Will?
Sounds like a sturdy fellow.
I like it. It sounds strong.
He
Do you-
represents our strength and our perseverance.
Mhm. All right.
I like
all,
it.
All for the Iron Will.
Sure.
You go tell them, Arkmir.
as you all
Yeah.
separate from your little huddle and you approach the sort of like the two chairs that the gnomes are sitting on, Harriet looks up at you and nods. Oh, seems you've come to a name. Hold on one second. She like reaches down into her satchel and pulls out like a small, it looks like almost like a gridded paper notebook. It like flips open to a page where she has a bookmark and like pulls it open. Yes.
We'll call ourselves the Iron Will. And I guess as I'm talking to her, do I notice? I mean, just with her book, do I see like a list of other?
Make a perception check.
We're like 12th on her list. All
Yeah.
the way across.
That's a 4.
No, I mean the page that she opens is like roughly halfway through her book, essentially. Um, there's probably a bunch of notes and things in there, but you can't make out anything in particular. She like pulls out this like it's like a small piece of like it's almost like a ring that just covers her finger, and she like puts it on her like first finger, like index finger, and just like scrawls with it, Aaron will on it, and like almost like sleight of hands it away so that it disappears without you even noticing where it goes. That sounds like a very good name for a mercenary group. Is that what you all are? A mercenary group, I guess. I know. Anyways, okay.
I ain't no mercenary. I have never killed somebody for cash, for money. But Miss
Miss.
Halfstep, I'm curious about something. Perhaps you can shed some light. Why has iron been outlawed in the town?
Well, there's been a bit of a surge in some of the criminal element buying up iron. We don't really know what they're doing with it. We saw a sudden surge in both wagons of iron being waylaid and attacked and being taken into Ward 8. And as you know, we don't, as a city, the Iron Cog don't have much control over Ward 8. Uh, since it seems like it's something that's in high demand, we want to make sure that any uh, iron stocks that we have are kept close watch on and monitored so that you know we don't know what they're planning to do with it, but we can at least try to make it as hard as possible for them to get their hands on it.
If we're going to help Ward 8, we might need to work with iron a bit to create the contraptions. and stuff.
That's that is expected. That's why I want to draft up this contract of approval, so that if anybody questions your needs for this iron, you can potentially use that as leverage.
Ah, so you read my mind there, lass.
Anything else? You all seem fairly like you've had a bit of a day. Is that singe marks on your clothes there? Um,
Oh,
eh.
you know,
Interesting.
bit of a soiree.
Just be thankful he's wearing all his clothes.
Quite
Come
thankful
on,
about
lass.
that. If there's anything else I can help you with, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably be heading off home and get an early morning in tomorrow. Get this paperwork ready for you all to pick up from the Prime Conduit if you so choose to do so.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
When did your father disappear?
It was about a month ago, give or
About
take.
a month ago.
Yeah.
Do you know where where he was last seen?
He said he was going to go out to the edge of Ward 6. He said he wanted to go see the storms, and that was the closest, safest place for him to go.
And I mean, not to make too many assumptions or anything, but I assume he's a gnome as well.
Yes, yes. He's an old gnome. He often has difficulty walking, but he has this wheeled contraption that he rides around on.
All right. Uh, any other defining characteristics of him?
He has
Oh well, I know what Hammond looks like, so
yes. This wheeled contraption that I mentioned is probably it's one of his most defining contraptions. And characteristics. He never really goes anywhere without it, to be honest. He like pilots it around. It helps him with his old mobility, old legs, and his aches and pains that come with age. But it also attaches onto his. It's almost like a backpack that he wears that has this attached to it. It's quite a complex and complicated creation.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll find him.
I hope that you do before the city falls to chaos.
Can't promise on timing, but we will find my sister, and we will find Hammond.
I think so. Those things have. I understand you really wish to find your sister and my father. Personally, I think we can buy more time to be able to accomplish both of those things if we can stop Ward 8 from collapsing and provide the people of Schema with something positive, anything. Um, or at least that would be, if I was to provide a suggestion, pretty much potentially why I've been convinced to hire you. It's uh, mostly that. She nods and she looks a little bit nervous.
Well, I think a good place for us to start would probably be Ward 2 at Sophistication. See what's going on over there. And if there's a show or whatever from our buddy.
Excuse me.
Oh, just to gather information. I heard about it from our friend Alistair.
At Sophistication?
Yeah, just to just see what's down over there. Ask some questions regarding Ward 8.
Oh, she looks at you and looks you over from like top to bottom. Oh, honey. Ah, uh, I don't think you're getting in there.
Why?
Just they have a certain clientele,
What?
uh, a little bit fancier, more. How do I put this?
Sophisticated.
That's the word.
Never could have
I would have.
guessed.
I mean, I'm gonna be frank with you. I've only ever been there once, and it was with my father. It was a really fancy um, celebration, a soiree of sorts that I was invited to. Um, it was not. How do I put this? It was very formal, very upscale. I had to wear a gown for it, and I hated every moment of it.
Got it. What about something like this? And then I cast Mask of Many Faces, and I have a big ball gown with poofy sleeves, long gloves, like kind of like imagine like 80s prom dress.
She looks at you, is like, that's a fancy trick. Uh, that's you're getting a bit closer, but maybe now I think you're trying a little bit too hard. Um, I think you want something classy and sophisticated, but not necessarily. And she raises up like a wrench that just seems to pop out of her like left sleeve and like twirls it around her hand, and all of a sudden like her overalls and like coveralls and clothes are replaced with like a sleek black dress with like sparkles that seems to shimmer in the darkness. It has like a
Ooh.
little bit of a slit
Whoa.
up the ankle, like up to
Oh,
her
so you mean like
thigh.
we should be like a little bit sexy? Is that what you're getting at?
I don't think I have a black dress like that. I could probably make one quickly
I think we need to go shopping.
at midnight.
I mean,
It is pretty late. I'm not going to lie.
we should probably rest and then go shopping tomorrow.
The sophistication's tonight, by the way. I think people keep forgetting that it's
Isn't
taking.
it tomorrow?
Nope,
No,
it's
it's
happening
tonight.
like now.
What? We're missing it?
It
Well, let's
was it
go.
was tonight.
Let's go. We'll figure it out on the way.
Um, you realize it's in Ward 2, right? By the time you get there, it's going to be pretty much midnight.
Miss Halfstep,
Yes.
outside I saw I believe a construct of some sort. It looked
Yes. Don't make me your fey godmother, please. Um, I could technically, potentially give you all a lift there, but I have much better things to be doing with my time, if you don't mind me saying so. Um,
I was just wondering if we could talk about getting one for ourselves. I didn't mean that you had to drive us there.
Now that you mention it.
that you could definitely acquire. It would run you a pretty penny, but could be potentially doable.
Okay. I go over to Arkmir. Do you have any attractive pennies?
How many do you need?
Uh, sounded like one.
No, I'll give. I'll give. I'll give Kelthier a copper. I'm just confused here, but my shiniest copper.
We're set.
On the topic of pretty pennies, uh,
Why,
you're
thank you.
saying
You
that
don't need to flatter me, but yes.
you're saying that you're hiring us uh, for in return of.
Well, I mean, it depends on results. I mean, I'm sure if my father is returned both alive and well, the city will pretty much owe you a massive debt. Um, everybody in the city would owe you a massive debt. Um, many people's lives would not be lost needlessly if you can restore energy to Ward 8. That people can start moving there again safely. It would. I feel like putting a gold value on this proposition might be a bit underselling it, if you don't mind me saying so. Um,
Understood. Understood.
But if there's anything in particular that you wish to purchase, I can see if we can arrange of a sort of a stipend of sort, maybe, to help you acquire any goods, materials, any research papers, or anything that you need. You can deal with that with my office tomorrow. Hammer out the paperwork for that. But I'm sure if it's something reasonable, it can be arranged.
All right. I think that would be much appreciated. We are we are going to need to make some expenditures to pursue these activities.
Mm. She, I understand, and she reaches underneath the slit of her dress and pulls out like a small pouch of
I bet she
300.
Mm.
And then she pulls out like a small pouch and jangles it with coin, and then she's like, "Ah, fuck this." She like again, and you see like this time out of almost nowhere, essentially, like where her her dress is like short sleeves, almost out of nowhere. There's like wrench, like small socket wrench, kind of pops out, and she like twirls it around her left hand, and the dress goes back to her normal attire. And you can see that she'd reached into her pouch, but the disguise self had taken into effect, so you hadn't seen it before. She like again just that like the sleight of hand, and the wrench kind of disappears. She like holds out this pouch to you. This should be at least a little bit to get you all started.
Thank you. I like shake it.
It seems fairly heavy.
Ooh. All right.
There should be roughly 500 gold in there. That should be enough to get you started. For any immediate purchases, if you need anything else, feel free to discuss that with my secretary.
Hmm.
All right. Much appreciated.
Oh.
Then Diamond just, walks away, kind of feeling a little uncomfortable holding that bag, but kind of moves away a bit, going towards the workshop of the big one.
Um, Harriet turns to you, Astra. Um, so what is that at sophistication that you're interested in going to exactly? What
No
does this have
idea.
anything to do with the
Oh, I
with your
mean,
project?
it's completely related to the project. One of
Hmm.
our friends is having a little show. I'm not really sure, but that's not even why I really, 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 really want to go. It's more because we can see what the clientele is like, see if they have any information that can help us out in terms of saving Ward 8, electricity, like lightning. At the show, like that's just
Hmm.
a
Well,
sidebar.
I can answer a few of your questions for you. The clientele there is
Oh,
snooty,
good.
rich,
Okay.
and overly pompous. They are very full of themselves, and they probably want nothing to do with anything to do with Ward 8, to be honest.
I still think we should go.
How familiar are you with Ward 2?
Not at all. You?
Well, let's just say there isn't. You know how Ward 1 is the central ward of the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how there's gates that exit from Ward 1 into Ward 4, and into Ward 5, and into
Affirmative.
Ward
Yes.
7, and into Ward 6. Ward 3 is a little bit farther away, under in the mountain,
Of course.
essentially. And Ward 8 is new. Um, you realize that I've mentioned every ward except for 2, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's no way to get from Ward 1 to Ward 2. They didn't want a gate because they don't like us very much. And by us, I mean us. She like circles and points to the big one, and to Janowak, and to herself. They
Maybe
kind of
we
think of
can.
themselves as their own city in some ways. They don't really. I'm sure there are some very nice people in War 2, but they probably don't care much about Ward 8. Let's be perfectly honest.
What if we put in a good word for you guys? We'll go. Here's the thing. We'll go
Hmm.
there. We'll talk you up. They'll overhear. We'll be like, "Oh, they have so much money, like, and they're like so cool, and like, and then they'll be like, wow, like these people sound great. We should help Ward 8."
As much as I would, it would actually be hilarious that I actually might accompany you to see this happen. Um, I did just invest about 500 gold and several minutes of my time into this. I don't think I want to see you all chased out of town.
I hear you. I hear you. Now, how does one get to Ward 2 if there's no gate from Ward 1 to Ward 2? Just curiosity.
You can go around. You'll have to go through either Ward 4 or through Ward 6. I recommend Ward 6. Ward 4, after night, they're probably not going to let anybody in going from Ward 4.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, go through Ward 6.
And it's a long ways over there. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you're going to make it to Sophistication tonight, dear. Unless you can find a way to magically teleport yourself there. Which, people have been trying to do that for a while. But it's not something easy. I'm sure if you swing by tomorrow, the act or whatever, the soiree, I'm sure you'll be able to find whatever it is you were looking for tomorrow. I hope.
Me too. Starting to think this isn't gonna happen tonight. Starting to. We'll see. I just back up and leave.
Janua kind of looks at you walking away and turns towards Harriet. I think you've upset her. And Harriet was like, "It's not my fault." And Janua was like, "Yes, but she's a child. You should understand." Like, and Harriet goes, "Oh, don't speak to me about dealing with." She like glances at the big one and then like shakes her head. Well, if that's everything, should I be heading out? Should I be taking my leave?
I think
She
we'll
nods.
see you in the morning.
She nods
One of
and
2 days.
you probably won't see me, to be honest. You'll probably deal with my secretary.
Oh.
But keep me informed of any of your updates, anything I can help out with. Um, I would like to know. And if you do go out into the storms and you end up dying,
We'll let you know.
I never heard about you.
No refunds.
Oh no, I don't expect that there will be any coin left for me to take back.
Thank you for your
Very well.
patronage.
And she
And
gets up and walks over to Jarvis, the bot that's holding like a long, it's like a long red cape with like a gold trim around the top, and she reaches up to grab it, yanks it off, puts it on like almost like a long cape that's just flowing and reaching down to the ground behind her, almost a little bit too long for her height. Cheers. And she waves and heads out. And you can hear
Eh.
loud clanking noises coming from outside as she climbs onto her carriage and shouts an order, and it begins to wheel away.
guys, come here.
Mm.
Look,
Oh.
I got a purse of money. Who's taking care of our Iron Will money?
You can't just take that, Tymond.
What?
You can't just take that.
Why
Did
not?
did they see you take it?
Didn't you see she gave this to me for for the contract.
Oh, that's okay.
I didn't steal it, lass.
Okay,
I'm offended you would think of something like that about me.
I don't know. I must have been mistaking you for Arknir.
I'm not like that guy.
Wow.
By the way, is it Arkmir that's taking care of our pawns?
I have been. I'm more than happy to hold on to this as well. But no. Extend my hand out. I also have, for all of you who don't know already, Alistair's left us a hefty sum from our last
Oh,
encounter. Be more than happy to just combine these two and hold on to them for us.
What do the rest of you think?
well, I think money's kind of irrelevant in this world.
I completely agree.
Having said that, I do need a gem worth 100 gold pieces. But other than that, I don't really carry too much money or find any need for it. But I feel like I've heard we need to do some supply shopping in the coming days. So perhaps we just pool our money together and buy what we need for our adventure.
I look at Arkmir with a little bit of distrust. I say, all right, lad. You keep this. Keep
Yeah.
it safe.
Keep it secret.
Arkmer just notices this kind of that look and the sense of tension, but kind of just accepts the money. Okay, I'll make sure this is safe, and then go ahead and just combine the money that I have right now for the group.
And then Timon just turns away, starts walking away, muttering, building bridges, building bridges. Oh, big one.
Oh, yes.
Question. Do you have a place where you practice with your shot weapon?
Not really. I mean, I haven't had any need for any such thing. I usually, up until maybe 4 days ago, 5 days ago, I didn't really leave Ward 1 or my house that often unless I was doing a supply run. So, between you and
you
me,
practice firing your gun somewhere. So
nope.
never fired it before.
Between you and me, that was the first time I've had to use it against somebody. Obviously, I made sure it worked, but I don't really
Where
practice it.
where did you test it?
I'm just here at my shop.
Against what? Point to
If
me.
you come in here, you could probably see a few of my bullets into the wall.
And then I'll point to the far corner where there's just like woods and stuff, and you'll see a couple dents in the electrosteel metal and a couple bullets on the ground. And there's only like 3 or 4. I made sure it was working, and that was good.
All right, good to know. Thank you.
Please feel free. Well, just try
All
not
right,
to
thank you.
try not to damage too bad.
I am so boasted. Lass, I know you want to go to this place, but I am dinged and singed, dead tired.
Why are we a little singed? I don't remember getting too close to a fire. Good talk.
I'll just go to my bench and start working away at some random things.
I'm not in the shop with you guys, so I don't hear
what
any
are
of this.
you, what are you and Astra and Arkmir up to?
I probably would have just, at the moment, walked out to the front and just looked up to the sky to one kind of get a gauge of approximately what time it is, but then also to see if if the moon is out and I can see it.
It's probably around, like, the equivalent would be like 9:30, 10 p.m. roughly. Um, you can see the moon. It's a little under half a moon.
Okay.
The sky's pretty clear. You can make
Uh,
out several of the constellations from here. It's fairly this house in particular is a little bit removed from like the crowded nature of the city, and it's fairly quiet and peaceful.
hmm. I'm gonna go back. I'll go back inside to where I was, which I assume just means Astra and Arkmir are there. Um, so I know it is getting a little bit late now. It was mentioned that Ward 2 is a little bit uh, far away. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if um, you all are uh, tired and want to um, prepare for the day to come. Um, but it's still quite early for me. Um, again, I don't need sleep. um, and I actually prefer the night a lot of the time. I was thinking about potentially going for a bit of a walk to just see if I can find where this place is. I want to uh, I want to see potentially what this sophistication is about and why Ward 2 is so separated from the others, um, or at least specifically Ward 1, um, and potentially get an idea of who Alistair and his his friends kind of are and who they work with. It was a little vague. Um,
Are you sure you want to go on your own? It sounds
Are you asking us to come
just
with you?
no,
'Kay.
it's I'm just letting you know that I might go for a walk. Um, what I was and I'll go up to Arkmir and just say like in a hush tone, if I am going though, I'm not sure if you want me to take this or not. And just kind of like tap my my pocket.
What are you guys talking about?
Pretty pennies.
Oh, the attractive kind?
always.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was actually hoping to just whispering this to you, but hoping to talk to Sparkai about this. Given that Fado is on that list. What are your thoughts?
Sure. Yeah, whatever you feel is right. Do you want it?
Uh, yeah, I'll take it for now.
There you go.
Yeah, Navaga's kind of gone upstairs to his bedroom and sort of like preparing to turn in for the night. But
Um, I'm going to just let the others know you're welcome to join if you want. Um, I'm not sure how long it'll take. I'm not even sure if I'll get there or not, or if I'll just turn around and come back. But um, yeah, I just want to see a bit of the city at night. Um,
This is a player question. As someone who does normally need rest, if I don't get it, is that like an exhaustion or
Point of exhaustion, yeah.
okay?
and
I will
even
get exhaustion
yeah,
too
yeah.
if I don't
If
like
he doesn't
go
get like
into
8 hours of rest,
yeah,
but
well,
he doesn't need to
4
sleep for them.
hours.
No, a long rest is still 8 hours, but you only need to spend 4 of those hours sleeping. The other 4 hours are like chill, hanging out. Like you can be doing stuff, you can be keeping watch, like that.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I see what you mean. I couldn't be doing strenuous activity
Yeah.
and then only take 4 hour gap and then go.
Like, technically, if it's a chill, low key walk, that might constitute. It's not strenuous activity. You're like sitting on a cart for 4 hours and then sleeping the other 4. It could constitute a long rest. Who knows?
It's up to you all.
Yeah.
I know that uh, I'm I'm sure the hospitality is here and people might want to rest. There's also potentially opportunities elsewhere to find bed for the evening for folks who want to. Um, I mean, we've already stayed in various places throughout the city. I'm sure those other wards are no different. Um, yeah, I'll go let the others know, as to not waste too much more time. Uh, so think on it, and then I walk over to the wherever his workshop is.
Yeah, it's just past the kitchen to the right. You head over that way.
Just kind of like knock on the frame of the door.
Oh,
Uh,
Galthier, come on in.
Hello. Um, I was just letting the others know that I was thinking of uh, taking a walk through a bit of the city this evening, potentially in an effort to maybe uh, come across Ward 2 and potentially get to this sophistication, to at least see what it's like. I understand that it's potentially a bit of a hike, and I might not even make it the whole way there. But I want to let you know, as I know it is getting a little bit later in the evening, and if you'd like to join me, I'll be heading out shortly. Um, but
Oh,
I just wanted to let you know.
all right. Well, okay. Thank you. I actually have some work I would like to get done this evening. So, is anybody accompanying you? Not sure we should split up entirely.
I'm not sure. Archimir said the same thing though.
Oh,
Be-
I
before
guess
we get before we get to that, where are we staying the night?
oh, we have plenty of couches and things that you're more than welcome to stay here. There's actually probably an extra space in my office or my workshop for somebody to stay as well. My bed is just over in the corner there.
I
Yeah,
look at
there's
it.
like enough room to set down like your bedrolls and stuff. There isn't much of like there aren't any extra rooms or beds, but
Yeah.
there's room on like the warehouse floor where you can make like a camp basically. Like it won't be super comfortable beds or anything, but it's basically what you would have slept on while traveling.
All right. Uh, so it sounds like we're spending the night here. If we are, I will probably stay, lad. The I am still dead tired from that evening,
Hmm.
and it was just like 2 days ago. I need to rest with all
that's
the
fair.
fighting too.
And with
Yes,
every
you still. Oh,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say with everything that has gone on with my father and everything, and I haven't slept in my own bed in a few days. I can definitely stay here with Tymond if either Ash or Arkmir wanted to go with you.
Sure. Yes, I think you could both use some rest.
Hmm.
And take the evening to recover. Um,
After peeks in the door to the shop. Before we potentially go, big one.
Oh,
Do you have any brass braziers by chance?
um, I don't typically carry brass in my shop. I could potentially make you one out of electro steel, but it might take me some time.
Electro steel, not brass.
It
Just to
it should function for what you want to use it for. And
Yes, please.
hmm,
I will put it on my list. We are going shopping, right? Tomorrow?
Yeah, okay. Well,
Lass,
whatever comes first.
before you go, where are those potatoes?
Oh, they're in my backpack, and then I just take out my backpack that usually has Hoku in it, and I give you the potatoes that I put in there.
Including the half-eaten one?
This one's from Hoku.
So you need
hmm.
that for Hoku? Is that why?
Yeah, yeah.
How big and everything does it have to be?
Doesn't say. It just says I just got to put all the other stuff I got, and it's got to be consumed in a by fire in a brass brazier.
Lass, don't be sad. He was protecting you. You said that you can bring him back.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
We'll be fine. Aren't you one, that was telling me that we will find Anya? That just takes patience.
That doesn't sound like me.
It was probably someone else then. Anyway, I'm pretty sure just be patient, lass.
DM question: would I know anywhere in at least Ward 1 that would have a fire that could be used for this? Because just looking it up, it requires a shit ton of coal and fire, and it's not a small size thing.
Mine?
Yeah,
What?
what you need for your spell. So I'm just asking if there's anywhere in Ward 1 that I would know that would have like a fire brazier thing for using it.
You just need like a brass pot or like an electro pot, like that you can light a fire in, like just light a coal
Doesn't have
like
to be
fire
anything
in.
fancy.
Do you have the
Like the
other
10
components
gold, she
required?
has the other components. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, then I have probably a bowl if
You-
you're allowing that.
You probably have bowls
Oh,
that you
well,
could use
come to
for
think of
this.
it, here.
Ooh, is this a bedpan?
I don't know.
Possibly.
Okay, well,
Elephant sized.
thank you.
Now go, lass. Go have your fun.
Okay. Calthier, I'm coming with you, buddy.
Okay.
Arcs, you joining us?
Yeah, I will.
No campaign.
Arkmir, did you show us what you recovered from the warehouse?
I have not
No.
yet.
Slimy
The-
asshole. Player
Then,
talk.
then the big one won't request a gem that he doesn't know about. I will just go to bed. That's fine.
All right, I'm going to head then. See you in the morning, I suppose, or tomorrow.
Please be safe.
Thanks for the bowl.
Behave yourself, Kaltir.
I'll keep an eye on him.
I will do my best.
So the three of you head out on under the cover of darkness. You go through the gate leading away from Spark Eye's workshop, and you take a right and make your way back to the main street that goes northwest. You start to go south on it, and Ward 1 is like at night fairly well lit. At least like most of the large streets have these buzzing, almost like glowing lights on them that seem to be powered through Magitech. Most of them are like a bright yellow. The streets are fairly empty. You see the occasional iron cogs wandering around, but mostly doesn't seem to be much foot traffic. Nobody seems to ask you any questions. Nobody seems to be too worried about who you are or where you're headed. Um, you do get a few glances just being like not artificers in the streets and being visibly armed for some of you. Like you're walking with your walking stick, but it does have the spear on the tip of it out there.
Mhm.
But nobody seems to approach you. It's fairly quiet, wandering through the streets. You head off towards the northeast, following signs towards the northeast gate of the ward that leads into Ward 6.
Mhm.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking out for along the way? Anything you want to do? Any guards you want to talk to? Ask questions? Anything?
No, I don't want to talk to any guards. So I think this was the way that we came through, just previously, right?
Not quite.
No, wait.
So you came
not
through from Ward 7, which was the southeast corner.
But that was, I mean, that was when we were coming up from 8, right? Was
yes.
it not? But then we just went out to.
So you
Was it
went
not?
to Ward 4, which was northwest. Ward 6 is
okay.
northeast, essentially. So it's the opposite direction.
I see. Gotcha.
I'm gonna assume the Ward 2 is straight up north.
That is correct.
All right.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm not really I'm not looking to like really talk to any guards, trying to just make mental note of just kind of the path that we're taking, following signs. I will like if it ever gets to a point where there are no signs directing, then I will try to spot
You're
like
following the main road through and not any of the smaller arteries that seem to break off and go towards like houses and parks and there's all sorts of just wide open space in between some of these buildings. Like you come to a small like triangularly shaped park with some children playing in the night. It's still fairly well lit and there's like constructs that they're chasing around the park. You notice birds flying up above you in the night, which is something that you aren't necessarily used to. Most birds seem to go to sleep in the woods at night, but a couple fly by you. As you're going up the larger main street towards the northeast, towards Ward 6, you see off in the distance, while most of the houses and stuff are winding down, there's like no lights inside most of the shops. You pass a few restaurants, a few food places. Hold on, where did that go? I need my list of restaurants. There it is. You pass by a tavern that seems to have a decently sized patio with like lights set up around it called the Green Wire. There seem to be large groups of people hanging out there, having a drink, having a meal. The food smells really good. And just across the street from a couple of blocks away, you can see, even from this far away, you see a large like glow emanating from a building to your northwest. It seems to be close to the road, but the glow seems to be changing almost. It's like as you're approaching it, it's at first it seems like a red glow, and then it changes to like more of a orangish, pink, yellowish, green, greenish, blue. Like it seems to be oscillating through a bunch of different colors. And as you approach the building, you just notice there's a large, garish, loud, massive building with like neon, like looking magical signs that seem to surround it on all four sides. And the signs say Clanco's curated collection of curiosities and
Oh,
contraptions.
that's where that
Oh
story is.
man.
The signs, the magical sign is just scrolling around all of the different like edges of the building. On top of it, there's there's like a large cog that just seems to be like half sunk into the ceiling. The glow seems to be emanating from inside the building, but when you look inside, the lighting inside is all just like plain yellow light.
Cool.
It's weird. Doesn't make any sense.
I believe this is the store that we were told about. And we'll have to. Well, now that we know where it is, perhaps tomorrow we can return here. I know folks were talking about acquiring some supplies. It's quite the interesting looking building. It stands out amongst everything else.
It looks thick. We have to go there first thing tomorrow. But right now, we're on a mission. We got to find out what this Alistair dude is doing at the sophistication.
So you continue and you make your way across, and it's strange. Almost as soon as you walk away from the building and you look around and look back to it, you swear that the glow's gone. Then, like, the street in front of you isn't glowing when you're not looking at the building. You turn around and look at the building, and suddenly you're awash with the glow. And you turn around, the street in front of you like is not glowing.
Just energy efficient.
It's impressive.
Astra keeps trying to like catch it. Like she'll be walking out like away from it, and then like really quickly turn, and then
It's
turn
right
back
there.
really quickly.
There's no glow.
Whoa.
As we're kind of like walking and talking, I'm gonna just say to Arkmir, Arkmir, one thing I've noticed as we've gone kind of traversed through Schema, it appears just about everything that people want to do or want to have or trade or anything, people are always asking for money, gold, copper, silver. Um, money seems to be the number one priority for people. Is that just how it is everywhere? That money is top of mind? Does no one just trade things wholesale, one for one?
Money is power. It goes beyond just
That's deep.
items. I
Yes.
mean, we were paid. Our services were paid for in money.
I yes. That I that's part of why I ask. It appears if you want a material good, you have to pay for it. If you even if you it seems somebody wants to ask for a favor, they expect some monetary value in return. Um, that is interesting. Um,
Did you ever want anything? Ever? Did you ever want anything growing up?
I I never really was around people. Um,
How
so
did you get your spear?
I made it.
Impressive.
Thank you. Um,
And your clothing?
I made them as well. Did you not make yours?
No, not a chance. I do not have this kind of skill. I rely on the people who do it as their daily living. But I figure you've learned this yourself. You've taught
Hmm.
yourself.
It's an interesting point that you bring up there that you rely on those who have those skills, and sometimes those people rely on your skills, um, but instead of doing it out of the goodness of the skills that providing your services, you expect a trade of gold between the two of you, and you put monetary values on things at different weights. It's interesting that the that people operate this way. Um, it also makes it a little bit more difficult for me to try to do things in the city. Um, it definitely makes it that perhaps I will have to keep a little bit more of. I'll have to consider more what currency perhaps I get my hands on and uh, use that how I can for the people that expect it. Um, I wasn't
How
necessarily expecting to have to carry
I
around a lot of money.
guess if you don't mind me asking, how would you do things if you had it your way?
I think I don't think there should be any monetary value to anything. All professions, all services, all goods are important. They all have their purpose. Um, I don't think anything should be weighted more than another. So if uh, if you know how to make food, if you know how to make clothing, if you know how to fight, I think that then that's your calling, and you should just do that. I don't think you should expect anything in return, and they shouldn't expect anything from you.
I don't
That
make
would
my
be
clothes either, guys.
It's a very valuable skill you all should learn.
I may have to lean on you for that one day.
Sure, I can show you. Or are you asking me to make you something? It'll cost you 10 gold pieces.
I can help you with the pricing there. You know,
Okay,
there's
sure.
different rates depending on who you're talking to.
All right. I will lean on you for that then. Um, this is definitely something new to me that I feel I have to learn if I want to get accustomed to operating in a place like this. And from the sounds of it, I mean, I think you've mentioned you're not from here, and time and another Astra, you're not from here either. This is just how it is everywhere.
I don't know.
Mm.
I didn't come across any of this in the tower.
Hmm.
Well, I guess sometimes Hoku and I. Like if he had like a piece of cheese and I had like a piece of mango, I wanted the cheese, he wanted the mango. We do a little swapsies. That's what you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
You'll make your way along the main artery through to the gate that leads out into Ward 6. Gate's open. There's a couple of guards standing near it, iron cog guards, and they don't seem to pay you any mind as you exit the city. You've been walking for or as you exit Ward 1. Been walking for probably about like an hour, hour and a half or so.
Actually, well, just while we're walking out, passing the guards, I will just make direct eye contact with the guards, whoever like meets my eye, and just continue staring at them like overly long as we continue walking by to try to just make sure that they really like put a thought into noticing me.
Uh,
Meow.
the guard kind of at first just like looks back and gives a nod, and they notice it. But you keep looking, and you keep looking, and he like his arm begins to go for his like hammer on his waist, and then at that point you end up looking away. But he'll remember you. You gather. Um,
All right, yeah,
as
keep
you
walking.
exit, and you find yourself in Ward 6, and there's the signs that were leading you toward Ward 6. Um, they seem to indicate they seem to be placed a little bit lower, and the writing on them seems to be a little bit clearer. Uh, and there's a sign as you enter Ward 6 that just says, "Welcome to the training ward." If you look around, most of the buildings here seem fairly Spartan, fairly not as fancy as Ward 1 at all. They're a lot more denser. There's a lot more of them, but it's also fairly empty. There's almost nobody in the streets, and you walk past what seems like a library. It seems like a school. Uh, you see just like a plaza that's set up where speeches and presentations can take place. You see um, carpentry like station set up where people like there's half finished projects that are set up. This entire ward seems to have been built with the sole purpose of like vocational training. And Calthier, you actually find yourself at home. You recognize different things that you might have worked on. You recognize different sort of uh, what these different contraptions could have potentially been used for. Just scattered about. You walk past a park that just seems to have like stations upon stations upon stations of what seem to be like different things that are set up. Like you notice a loom that's been set up in the middle of like a few stools. You notice a painting easel that's been set up. You notice like a cartography, like somebody's like half finished map that's been set up. Um, all sorts of these different like workstations, schools. You walk past libraries, you walk past schools, you walk past a large, well-established like academy that seems to be called. There's just a sign in front of it that says the Academy of Artifice.
Mm.
You walk past a building that's a little bit more bustling, and it just has like a big glowing red cross on top of it, and a sign below it that says the Injury Prevention Department. Walking further along, and you're following signs that claim towards Ward 2. Most of these, there aren't many of these signs. Um, but as you follow, like you do find occasionally there's a handful, and it's a little bit tough to make your way through here. But the streets are empty. there's like next to no one here. You'll spot occasional like blocks of residential housing. You notice that some people like are sitting outside their houses. You notice some of the lights are lit up, but overall, this is much more of a purpose-built ward as opposed to generally a residential one. You walk past a restaurant that's fairly boisterous called the Evening Whistle. And as you continue on, about probably another solid hour, almost hour and a half, so it's approaching midnight at this point. Following this main street, you come to a place where it's visibly clear that there's a demarcation of sorts. You're walking through the street that seems to be cobblestone, and past this, like almost an invisible line, the entire city and the surrounding of it seems to change. There are large, fancy, opulent trees. The cobblestones are like completely flat and pristine. It looks almost like tiles laid out on the floor or on the road. The lights that you've gotten used to at this point, the glowing yellow incandescent light, that's not the light here at all. Instead, there are these floating orbs that are completely lit up in a manner that's much more familiar to you, Kaltir. While the rest of the city seems different, it seems very much technological, very much focused on this like electrosteel magitech. This district feels much more home to you. It feels much more like something you're used to. It feels more magic focused. You see these large statues with water pouring out of them, large fountains of figures wearing long flowing robes. You see another statue off to the right of a winged horse. It's opulent to the maximum, but there is no electrosteel in sight.
So I'm
There's no
actually
wires, there's no cable, and there's also no iron cog. Instead, what you notice is a differently attired guards with these long halberds patrolling the streets. Many more of them than the iron cog. Probably in groups of two. There's a much heavier guard presence. They're wearing these like purple berets almost,
Mhm.
and these long like flowing robes of dark blue and metal armor on top of them. Actually, not purple. They would hate purple. Dark blue berets. Let's go with dark blue berets. And this
As we're
entire
walking
ward
in,
is different from everything else that you've been to.
right. As we're walking in, before we get close to anybody that's in here, I'm just gonna mention to the others. Um, Given what we've heard and just what we can tell by the looks of this place, I think it would be best if we do not mention that we are working with and are friends with artificers. It sounds like they don't get along with this place. So perhaps we keep that to ourselves.
You notice around you, there's very few what looks like houses in this area that you're in, at least. But you do look and you see towers spanning, scattered around the ward. You notice at least 3 or 4 different towers of varying construction and height. Um, you notice some trees that are almost like blocking your view, and there's like other towers rising up from within the woods, quote unquote. You see like large gated manors and mansions. Again, very different from anything that you've seen, but in harsh contrast to particularly Ward 8 and Ward 4. Because
Mm.
Ward 4 was packed and crowded and
Mhm.
very much like destitute and poverty stricken. This ward, despite technically neighboring it, is as far from that as you can see.
Mm. Well, I suppose we're here. We can try to see maybe how long it would take to get to sophistication. Also, it seemed um this I don't know how many people we've seen so far, but you're saying it's very opulent and like pristine and like are the people like did they like are they like not just the guards? I don't know if we've seen anybody else. It's pretty late.
It's pretty late. There's like
Okay,
nobody on the streets, but there are guards, and a few of them are eyeing you as you enter the district.
right. Um,
Their armor seems to be very well maintained, as opposed to the Iron Cog.
Fog.
nice. Respect. Um, well, uh, it it looks like uh we might draw even more attention here. Uh, Perhaps maybe we look even more out of place than we already do. Um, so maybe if you two wanted to talk to the guards here and just ask perhaps where we might find this place. Also, I'm not. It might be best not to name drop anyone right now, given we don't really know this place at all. That includes Alistair. Um, just in case. I don't know. Don't want to get anyone in trouble. Um, but yeah, maybe we can find. And also, they're staring at us, and as someone who's familiar with that, they they may be they may already be begun thinking or assuming things about us. So it might make sense to clear the air if possible. So perhaps you two um, can try to aid with that. I mean, I could just stare back at them.
I don't think that's a good
uh,
tactic.
yeah, of course. And Arkmir will walk over to the set of guards.
So
You
does
see the
Astra, but she has her nose kind of in the air.
as you walk up to the guard, one of them kind of like turns and whispers to the other one, and they both approach you. Halt! What business do you have here?
Hello there. My name is Arkmir, and I am looking for sophistication. I was wondering if you could point me in the right direction here.
You know what time it is, sir?
I do. I was asked to just pick up a package, and I will. I just need to go there, and I'll be out of your way, out of this ward before you even know it.
Would you mind if we accompanied you there to make sure that all is well and you don't have any ill intent?
I I don't mind personally. No.
Do we look like we'd have ill intent?
I prefer not to answer that question, but we can escort you to the sophistication. It's a restaurant, bar, performance, show venue, um, club of sorts. Yes,
Perfect.
come follow me. And he is your companion over there with you? We noticed you entered the ward together.
No, I'm just kidding.
Affirmative. And he like just turns off in the distance and like gives like a little hand signal off in the distance. Yep,
Yeah.
follow us.
Do I spot anybody that he is maybe gesturing to?
Yes, there's another couple of guards like down the street who are patrolling, and one of
Hmm.
them gives like a hand gesture back. The two guards kind of lead you back to where Skelter, and they approach you. They're both fairly like well built. They're armed. They have this halberd on them. They have a crossbow strapped to their back. The halberd is made of iron, in case you were wondering. Uh,
Oh,
they're like dark blue, like robes and tabard. One of them has like a little bit of a goatee. The other one is clean shaven, uh, wearing like these berets, so it's harder to tell their like hairstyle. But they look fairly experienced, like veterans of sorts, and they uh, begin to walk down the street, leading you further into War 2.
How many guards are there like patrolling the streets? Is it just here and there?
Probably a couple of them almost on every street. There's a much heavier guard presence in this district than anywhere else in the city that you've seen.
Okay.
You walk along the street, and they lead you. It seems you actually lose track of the way you came in some ways, because the road is fairly windy, and you're going through these like low canopies of trees. It's almost like you're walking in a forest at some spots, with your only guide being the two that are following you, or the two guards that you're following, and that are leading you along here. You notice small like paths breaking off from the road going into almost the trees. You notice several forks that you end up taking a right, and a left, and then a right, and then you occasionally spot lights and towers through the trees that you're walking past. You spot large gates and manors that you walk past. And probably about another half hour of walking later, you come to what seems to be a little bit more of an open clearing. There's a large plaza of sorts that's been set up. There's a few restaurants that seem to be scattered around it. There's like three, one at each almost corner of the plaza, as well as some smaller houses that seem to be either attached to the restaurants themselves, where the staff could live, or just warehouses where food and other resources and things can be stored. You notice one of the restaurants has a sign above it that says "The Magic Taste." That one seems to be closed for the night.
Mm.
But the one across from it, you notice a very fancy handwritten sign that's almost like diagonal across the top of it. That just says "Sophistication."
Mm.
There's a couple of well-dressed, I guess they would be elves. Two well-dressed elves. They're standing out in
Ah.
front of it with long black hair. Both of them are wearing sunglasses, even though it is dark.
I get it. I get it.
There's a cobblestone path that
I
seems
pull
to
out
lead
my
out, and
sunglasses.
the only thing that you see of this is these two well-dressed. They're in robes, immaculate robes that seem to be forming almost like a tailcoat behind them. Bow ties. They're just standing, staring out in front of this building.
Just before we got within like visual distance, like just before they would have been able to see us, I would have cast Mask of Many Faces and kind of imitated the dress that Harriet was wearing.
Alright.
And I also want one of those monocles on a stick.
You can say that you have a monocle on the stick, I guess. Though I don't know how that necessarily works with this guy's
It
stuff.
doesn't
Maybe
do
it's
anything.
my
It's
wand.
I don't
my,
think
my
so.
wand.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, your wand looks like a monocle on a stick. Yes, that could potentially work.
Okay.
Um, you do notice that in front of the building, essentially, there's like a cart,
Sorry,
almost like a wagon that seems to be parked there. Yes.
player question. Astra has a monocle on a stick and glasses on her face.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can barely even make out the building that has the sign on it because there's trees on both sides of the pathway that's leading up to it. It's like fairly farther in, but these two elves with sunglasses are both standing out front. Neither of them seems to notice you. The guard that led you here turns towards you. You said you had a package to deliver. What? Excuse me, miss. What?
Hmm?
Not
You-
deliver,
Yes.
pick up. But we'll have to
You weren't
go.
always dressed like that. Is this some sort of magical enchantment that you've?
I just changed.
Did you have? Roll a deception check.
Uh-oh. 7.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stay here. You said you had a package that you needed to pick up, sir.
Correct, but in order to do that, we'll have to get into sophistication. And forgive me, but our friend here, she need to dress for the occasion so she can go in.
Mm. And I just look him up and down through my monocle.
Roll a persuasion check. Not
Is
you, Arkmir.
Oh.
Mm.
Wait. That's going to be 24.
Oh.
I can boost it if needed. You tell me.
No, that should be fine.
Mhm.
We'll wait out here, but he like shakes his head and like, if what you need to do is get in there, I'm not sure if this will help, sir. He seems to be fairly like he's interested in kind of figuring out what you all are actually doing here. Is kind of what you gather. He looks at you, Kaltir, and is like, "Are you also going to be going into this place?"
Yes.
Good luck. And both of the guards kind of like turn around. We'll wait here for you for a few minutes. If you don't return in about 10 or 15 minutes, we'll have to come in and see if we can escort you back. They nod.
Sounds fair. I'm gonna pop into my disguise kit, but and just look for. Would I have any outfits of? I guess that would
Do you
be.
have anything that says like you would have fancy clothes? I don't think so.
I don't think so
Like
either.
fine
Just gonna
clothes.
say no for now.
No.
I guess turn to Astra, Kelthier. I think. I don't think they'll let me in. You guys, I can wait out here if that works for you too.
Wait, but Alistair said all we had to do was ask for Geraldo, and he would let us in. He'd get us in.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we
just
can give that a shot.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
Okay. And then I'm like walking like really sophisticated. Like nose in the air. By the way, my hair is like tied back in those like rich people hairdos, you know.
What does that
Mhm.
I'm imagining like Hunger Games, how like overly extravagant.
Not like a beehive, but you know, like a bun where I don't know what they do with their
Okay.
hair.
All right. As the three of you start making your way up the street towards the restaurant/venue known as Sophistication,
Mhm.
let's take a break.
Nice.
Oh, day.
Alrighty.
See you guys back here in a few minutes.
Yep. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. Bye.
Sophisticated soiree.
And welcome back. Before we jump back to our tiefling bros and half pale elf over in near sophistication, let's check back in at the Spark Eye workshop. Diamond and the big one. Is there anything you guys would have wanted to be doing tonight? Anything you would have done once your companions left?
Yeah, there's a couple things. First thing I would say, oh, hey, big one. Is your father a late sleeper or an early riser?
DM. I don't know.
Probably he's an early riser.
Early riser?
All right, so as I'm getting into bed, because apparently I didn't get to sleep, I
Not
would.
yet.
Oh, well, I don't even remember what you just said. What did you just say? Early riser?
Yes.
Okay.
He typically is an early riser. It's probably well past his bedtime now.
All right. Question DM, what time is it? Because it's about the time that they left, right?
Yeah, it's about like 9ish p.m.
Okay, so it's not that late. Cool.
Not super late.
Oh, I'm totally this
It's
whole
late, but
episode
it's
time
not super
frame is
late.
messing with me. I thought they left at midnight because that's what's her name said. Half
They
step.
got there after. They got there about like after midnight.
Okay. Big one.
Mhm.
Do you mind if I use the kitchen?
Oh, I mean, it's not mine, but please go ahead.
All right. So Timon will find in his stuff the big decanting object, like the container that the big one made for him. Gonna grab that with one arm. Gonna grab the bag of potatoes with the other arm. Then head towards the kitchen. And then arriving at the kitchen, he's gonna find some surface, and he's gonna get one of his daggers and he's gonna start chopping potatoes up.
Yeah.
And then he's going to,
The kitchen is a little bit weird, you find. It's not exactly like you would have been used to. A lot of the appliances and sort of like the sink and the fixtures are fairly small and like gnome size, but a lot of the counters around it are larger and almost the size of like the big one. So it's the real weird mishmash of kind of like things that are a little bit too small for you and things that are a little bit too big for you. There's nothing that's like the right size for you of what you're used to.
Oh, rats, this is a little inconvenient, but I guess I can find one of these smaller countertops to work. And then gonna essentially start preparing the mash for the for brewing some potato lager.
Nice.
Okay. I have no idea how that works, so I will trust you that you know how to brew beer. Make a proficiency tools check.
You boil them, mash
All
them, and
right.
stick them in a stew.
Yeah, so I do have
You have proficiency, then you can add your like proficiency bonus
yeah.
to it.
I have I assume I have disadvantage because of
Yes.
the
You're
thing,
still exhausted.
but my stone rune gives me advantage on any ability checks
No.
that I have proficiency on. So
Is it when you invoke it or just in general?
no passive.
Oh, no. Nice.
So yeah, so stone rune, you have advantage on wisdom checks, dark vision. Oh, no, never mind. It's for a rune I haven't done yet. But I'll get to that tonight. So I guess I'll just roll a disadvantage. Oh shit. That tastes like ass. So what do I add?
Just your
For
proficiency bonus.
proficiency.
It's just
5.
Damn, that's some good beer.
You made something. You're letting it ferment for a while as you like prepare everything together.
Yeah. And then I guess I'll just leave it on the container overnight for it to ferment and brew. And then I walk back to the big one's not office, his workshop, and say, "Oh, big one, you still awake?"
By this point, the big one's probably in his bedroom.
Getting ready for bed.
But then he sleep like in a corner in his
No, like
workshop.
it's
And
like
there is
a.
like a
I don't know if
like
there's a door to
cabin
be
almost.
honest, but like yeah, there's
Yeah.
like a separate compartment room area.
Okay, I go and I knock. Oh, oi,
Oh.
big one.
Oh yes, Timon.
Oh, lad, are you still awake? Are you decent?
I'm getting ready to. I don't even know what the right word. Part for the evening. Pass for the evening. That doesn't sound right. I'm ready for bed.
All right. So where should I set up my bed?
Please use any space in my workshop if that's comfortable enough for you, or anywhere on the main floor in my father's house will work just fine as well. There's plenty of space, just whatever you prefer.
All right. Just so that you're not
As
too
you're talking, you hear a voice from behind you as the Yanawak kind of speaks up. Yes, feel free. There's a couch in the living room if you want to sleep on that. There's also a shed out back where we keep some of our older contraptions that are kind of deprecated. If you need some quieter space for on your own for some privacy, um, feel free to head out there and maybe you can set up camp in that shed. You know the shed that I'm speaking of.
Oh, Mr. Spark, I didn't hear you there. You're very sneaky. I
You see that he's carrying like a small pouch that's just like tucked under his like arm.
what are you carrying there, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I wanted to talk to my son for a bit in private if you don't mind, but I'll wait for you to finish your conversation.
Sure, sure. No, I don't want to be inconvenient. I was just wondering about where could I set up for the night, and also, just so that neither of you are startled, in the morning, I'm going to make some tests with my rifle, so that might be a little loud.
Yes, it should be fine. I'm used to strange explosions and noise.
It's quite
They
common
tend to
around
happen a
here.
lot around, especially in the earlier hours of the morning. I would recommend not to practice right now. It's people do like to sleep at night,
Great.
but the
All
morning
right.
is fair game.
So I
The
will
old
work.
the old salvage yard is fairly close from here as well. If you're looking for any parts or anything to shoot at, there's I'm sure that nobody would mind any sort of like clanging noises or anything from over there. In fact, maybe you can check up and make sure that any of Fado's mail hasn't gotten stolen. The rash of mail theft that's been going around in this ward recently.
All right, all right. I'll let you talk to your son. Thank you so much, Mr. Sparky. Good night. Then I walk away.
Good night,
Um,
Timon.
Spark Eye nods and then he turns around and looks and makes sure that you're kind of gone.
yeah, so Timon just goes probably to like the farther side of the workshop, sits down and starts like tinkering with some things that I want to get back to later.
Spark Eye like clears his throat. Would really appreciate a little bit of privacy if you don't mind, or a big one. Can you can come join me in my room upstairs and we can talk there?
Sure, yeah. I
I-
mean, Timon, please, no.
Bit of
I
a
mean,
tight squeeze.
you've had some pretty busy days. Please get your rest. I'll come with you, Father.
It's a very tight squeeze as he goes up the stairs. You don't usually go up here because it's not like to your size, but you join him in his like bed chambers and he like sits down on the bed. How are you, my son? It's been a busy, crazy few days. Haven't
It's
had a chance to check in.
it's definitely out of the ordinary for sure, but aside from a few bumps and bruises, I feel quite all right.
As everything, these new friends of yours, they seem quite capable, or
Oh, very much
you
so.
trust them?
I think so. I mean, we've done quite a lot together in this short time, and seems like most of them share the same interests of trying to get Ward 8 back on their feet. And then, if I can help Timon find his sister and help find Mr. Hammond, then I believe that this group is quite capable.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about what it is that you all are planning to do. You know it's dangerous, and
Oh, very.
I don't have to tell you. You've seen the lightning rifts. You've seen them around the city. It's. I didn't. You can see that he's a little bit
Hmm.
kind of upset in general.
Everything okay, Father?
I knew that the day would come when you would, want to set out on your own and build your own legacy and make your own creations. And I'm very proud of the construct that you made, the little one. I'm proud of the artificer that you've become and the creations that you'll create, and I just wanted to make sure that you knew that before.
Oh. Well, thank you, Father. I mean, I'm only the way I am because of you. You've taught me everything I know, and I just
That's not
tried.
true. You had the willingness to learn. You wanted to learn. You wanted to do this, and all I did was show you the way.
I just wanted to make you proud.
I'm very proud of you, son. I wanted you to know that. DM note: can the rest of you on Discord deafen your streams, please?
What?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh shit! He's a liar.
I can't hear anything. All right,
Okay, wait.
just do
I'm
wild
gonna say something.
gestures.
Can you hear me? If you can still hear me, then that's okay.
I think everybody's good.
All right. Yanawak turns to you and is like, I have this for you. He hands you like a pouch that's wrapped up.
What's this?
These are my notes from
Oh.
the research that I was trying to accomplish. And since I'm now retired and you're on this path, I think it makes sense for you to take over in some ways. This is the unfinished project that I could not
Oh.
complete, that
Oh my.
every artificer in Schema could not complete.
Oh well.
But these are definitely a secret, and I know that you are very trusting, and I know that you want to share this you will want to share this with your companions. But these notes, they contain every last bit of information about the Aetherion.
Oh.
Everything that I know, and everything that we have tried to restore it to make it able to sustain the city.
Wow. I mean, I'm not sure I'm the right person for this, Father. I mean, I still feel like there's so much I.
The
This is.
path that you're going on with these friends, the Lightning Rift, they're the only thing that I did not research. They're the only avenue of saving the city that I did not try. They're the only avenue of repairing the Aetherion that we did not try. We have never even considered this, and you are considering it. That shows that you are the right artificer for this. I believe in you, son, and I think you're smarter than you think. Go through these notes, read about them, read about the Aetherion, the device that exists under the city of Schema. Read about everything that we've tried to restore it. Read about everything that we've tried to give it power.
Oh.
Uh,
I will,
It's
Father.
deteriorating even more rapidly. Ever since they turned on Ward 8, it drained the Atrion of the last vestiges of power that was holding it together. It's almost fallen apart now. Anything that we can do to heal it, to recover its power, that's the true project that Harriet and I were discussing. We need a way to regenerate the energy within it. And if this lightning rift harvesting device that you're working on can potentially do that, that could really save not just Ward 8, but this entire city and everybody who lives in it. Many of us have tried this before. None have succeeded.
But I don't really know what to say, Father. I'm honored that you have so much faith in me, and I give you my word, I will do everything in my power to help save Schema, help save well, you know. And then Big One's acting as if others can hear him already because of how loud he is.
Yeah.
I promise I won't
trust
fail
you, and I trust in your ability. I was unable to save the city. The hundreds of other artificers who tried were unable to save the city. I fear that if you were also unable to, then you're the most promising student that any of us have ever had. And I'm proud, again, to have you as my son. And he hands you another pouch. These are some savings that I scrounged around for over the past few months. I'm fairly well off, and this manor is fully paid for, and I don't have much need for anything else than aside from this workhouse and your safety. You hold on to those and make sure that anything that you need that I can provide, you just have to ask. I'm always here rooting for you. Okay, kid?
As he's saying that, I'll curiously open it just a little bit, peek inside.
There's about 10 platinum. And 1 jewel that you gather is worth about 100 gold pieces.
Let's go. Okay. Wow, Father. Thank you.
He says that jewel in there, it's like a round, almost like a emerald of sorts.
Sick. Oh, Father,
there was a long time ago. Tell you what, the next time you're back, the next time we have a chance to chat, I'll tell you the story of how I found that, of who gave me that jewel.
I promise I'll put it to good use. I think I have an idea of how this might help out, actually.
Good luck, son.
Thank you, Father. I won't fail you.
And I'll just reach out and give him a.
He gives you a big hug.
Yeah.
And then pats you on the shoulder. You can tell that there's a few tears coming out of his eyes.
I'll wipe the tear with my trunk. Just a little.
He just gives a little bit of a laugh, and it's like,
thank
go
you,
on.
Father.
Good luck. And
thank you.
You head back downstairs.
Yep.
Come to the warehouse or the workshop. You all are back. Yes, you all are back. Yep.
We're back.
Nothing happened, I swear.
We figured it out. It's okay.
Okay.
you were reading my lips.
Yes, we got the gist of it.
Okay.
We have
You were
the
giving him
name.
the birds and the bees talk, weren't you?
Yeah.
He was taking note.
Yeah.
Son, when a man and a woman like each other.
Timon, you're about to set up for what you were doing while the big one was upstairs having his chat. What did you want to do?
So, Timon went as far away from the big one, and Sparkeye started setting his bedroll, and then he goes to find some reachable surface that he can use. It might even be a stool or something.
Yeah, it's probably a stool.
A
The tables are a
bench.
little bit too high for you. but there's
Yeah.
probably like a bench, like a stool somewhere that you can take a look at.
So he's gonna go to the bench and he's gonna take out his mid stool. And then he is going to remove the large iron ring from his main central beard. And he's going to use this mid tool, basically like a small hammer and an engraving chisel. And he is going to inscribe on the outside of the ring the stone rune, the same thing that is on his hammer. And he is also going to inscribe next to it the other rune that he identified in the storm that he didn't necessarily tell anyone about, but he just remembers it from seeing it on the storm.
Yep. So you're just sitting there with like a chisel and like a hammer and like trying to mold the metal, like dig into it and leave behind. Like it's a bit rough because you don't have anything to like melt the metal with. You're just kind of like chiseling and like scraping away at it. It would probably be a little bit better if you had access to a forge, but you get a good enough facsimile of what you're looking for.
All right.
The
And
big one, when
then-
you come back to your workshop, you can just hear like these tink 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 noises coming from the corner where Diamond is
Oh.
working.
Yeah. And he's really invested in it. And then he looks at the second rune, and then like he like puts the ring back into his beard. Like it's a little bit difficult to do because it's very bushy. So puts puts it back. And does he feel any different?
Not immediately, no.
Okay.
Not immediately.
Okay. I'll message you on
Yep.
Messenger real quick.
Yep.
So while he's working away and he's a little distracted, the big one's gonna attempt to like sneak a little bit, like he did outside the warehouse. So just he notices time of work, and then I'll like walk over to one of my workbenches and scoop something up that I have, and like try and hide it from Timon, even though he's not paying attention.
Yep.
And I'll just run into my room.
Please make him throw a stealth check.
You're not really paying attention.
Yeah.
Like you're busy on your thing, and your passive perception is fairly like you notice the big one walking back in
Yeah.
and like walking back out.
Just carrying like something that I had made in the corner. And then I will take that something and shove it in my bag that I've been carrying around. Just save it.
Yep.
Okay.
A little something something.
And then after Tywin is done with that, he's going to reach in his pouch for the hunk of electro steel that he got from the big one a while back. And he's going to start carving it into a small pendant almost that resembles Hoku. He's going to start ting, 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 ting. Like scraping at it.
Make a smith's tool check, and yes, you do get the benefit that you were asking for.
Awesome.
And while he does that, I make Hoku out of metal. I'm just kidding.
Oh, fucking hell. Rolling like shit today. It's 9.
It looks oddly like it looks very misshapen, and as much as like you're hammering and chiseling away at it, and it's strange. Like you strike the like piece of electro steel, and it doesn't. Maybe it's because it's a material that you're not used to working with. It seems to bend more than you expected. And at first you're like, oh, maybe this is just the material itself, but it shouldn't be this ductile. And then as you like touch your hammer a little bit, like there's a warm heat almost emanating from like your smithing hammer as you struck, and that's strange. You strike again, and it melts a little bit more than you expected, and it throws just your entire like plans and like your entire abilities just off by a little bit because it's doing more than you're normally used to. Like when you normally strike some like dry metal with a hammer, it doesn't bend as much. So it
If I
it forms a
notice,
misshapen-ish blob
if I
that
notice
looks
him doing
wiggly
that,
like the head of a dragon.
I'll be like,
But
It takes these delicate hands.
before I go back in, holding up my giant elephant hands, and then I'll just head to my bed.
What the fuck you talking about? So Tywin is a bit disappointed. Like, oh, I need to rest. Can't do shit today. And then he just puts everything away. Kings off to bed.
Once,
you
before we swap over to the other crew there, Big One, after his discussion with his father, would wait till I'm sure it wouldn't take long for Timon to fall asleep.
He's
Granted, how
exhausted.
exhausted he is. I would like to stay up as long as it takes me to
I think that would
do the
like you
things.
are still in the workshop. Like you would
Start-
probably wake him up unless you go and work out.
No,
in the
no,
shed.
no, not the
Like-
work part, the read part.
Oh, the read part.
The
Yes.
read
okay,
part,
yeah.
yeah. So I don't know
Yep.
if you want to send me that later or whatever it might be, but
We can discuss that later.
sure, sounds good. That's all I would like to do.
Back to sophistication. Word 2. As our fancily dressed tiefling, our not so fancily dressed tiefling, and our creepy pale elf approach these two.
Use you.
Approach these two very finely dressed elven gentlemen who are standing outside the building. They both look down their nose at you.
Oh, hello.
They don't say anything. Yes, ma'am?
We are looking for a Geraldo.
What's your Geraldo? Ma'am?
Geraldo. Did I stutter?
Roll an intimidation check.
Can I assist with that?
Roll well.
Sure.
Make sure you get those hands.
You get
really
advantage.
Do I?
Because we're
You
intimidating.
do.
I'm not doing that.
Well, I am.
But he is.
I do get advantage? I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do.
Oh, okay. Well, no. 13. First one was better.
Is your name on the list, ma'am?
It doesn't need to be on the list.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but all names need to be on the list in order to be granted access. Do you
Where's
have?
Geraldo?
I do not know anybody by that name, ma'am. And he like reaches down underneath, like there's almost like a podium to the side, and he
Into
reaches
his
down. And
pants.
he pulls out like a clipboard and starts just scanning through the list. Flips it over. I'm sorry, ma'am. There's no Geraldo on the list.
All right. The
What's your
name's
name, ma'am?
Bethany. Should be on the list. Look under B.
I don't see a Bethany on the list, ma'am.
Probably
Well,
just
they
your actual
probably-
name is on there.
They well, they probably went by my middle name then, which is Astra.
I
Astra Maris?
I have a Miss Astramaris here. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Along with Kaltir, Big One, Arkmir,
From
and
across the
Tymond?
word you hear, oh, it's the big one.
Screams out into the night.
It's the big one.
Ma'am,
Mhm.
I can tell by your attire that you're you would fit in among the crowd here, so as to not to cause any consternation amongst our patrons, I will have to ask your associates to either wait here or change into attire more befitting the atmosphere, ma'am.
Yep. No problem. Do you have a change of clothes we could borrow?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is not that type of establishment.
I hear you. And the thing is that a lot of the places where you purchase attire, such as my own, are closed at this time of night. I assume.
The other elf kind of looks towards the guy who's talking to you and is like, it's past midnight. I'm sure we can accommodate some stragglers. Our usual clientele is mostly home by now anyway. If you don't mind, I can lead them in. He nods, and I'm gonna put you all down here. You're Astromaris, and he points to you, Arkmir. You are
I am Arkmir.
Arkmir, and you, Mister
I'm Caltha.
out there. Will your other companions that are here on the list be joining you here tonight? Should I be expecting them to arrive later?
They
Not
will not.
not tonight, but maybe another day.
I'm sure this list is going to get burned after tonight, ma'am.
I know.
Very well. My colleague here will escort you in. He steps aside, and the other elf kind of turns around and holds the door open, and ushers you in. As you enter, the entire establishment is very dimly lit. You can barely see past the hallway. Except for Calthair. For you, it's as lit as it could possibly be.
Yeah, it's kind of bright in here.
There's candles that are set up. There's fairly private, almost booths of sort. There's slow jazz music that's playing. Seems to be a bard or a group of bards that have been set up on stage. As you look around, you see a lavish sort of ballroom of sorts with tables that have been set up all around. There's a very classy chandelier hanging over a middle area where there's a dance floor. On the opposite side, there's a stage that has been set up. To your left, there's a bar, and then to your right, there's a spiral staircase that goes up to an upper landing. Most of the tables are actually fairly empty. There's a few people scattered around, several tables, and their eyes immediately turn towards you. Everybody is dressed in their evening finest, though they're looking a little bit sloshier than you would expect under normal circumstances. It's past midnight. Generally, the people here have had a good night already, and they're choosing to spend the wee hours of the morning here instead of at home. A few eyes fall upon you and follow you across as you enter into this room, into the floor, the floor of the I don't know what to call it, the floor area. As as the elf escorts you, he points you towards the bar. Feel free to have a drink. Would you all like me to arrange a table for you here on the lower level, or would you like a table on the balcony?
Yes.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't catch that. Would you like a table on the balcony or a table here on the floor?
I think we're just looking to meet someone. Yeah, actually. I say that in Elvish as well.
He replies to you in
Mello.
Elvish. If there's anyone that you're looking for, you mentioned a Geraldo. I'm sorry that name doesn't ring a bell for me, but I'm sure if you ask at the bar, they will be happy to track them down. And he's speaking to you with saying this in Elvish.
Oh, thank you.
As you turn and look over to the bar, you can see, you recognize a looming, like, muscular figure of Butch, who's just grabbed, like, this plate of, like, beers. He just turns around and, like, turns towards you, and he sees you all. He, like, raises a hand, and the plate trays too heavy, so he, like, cradles it on one knee, and then, like, waves to you. Hey!
What?
Really quickly,
Hey.
is he dressed in fine clothing?
Not really.
Okay.
He's
'cause
wearing,
he
like,
was,
his
like,
tank
in a
top and
yeah, he
his,
was in a
like,
tank top.
dirty
like-
jeans.
Yeah, but he's like
And
9
he seems
feet
very
tall.
out of place over here.
Yeah.
Okay. It appears we've maybe found the
He's
person
got
we're
just this,
looking
like, big, cheerful smile on his face.
for. All right. I
Caltier,
guess.
you notice out of the corner of your eye, um, at one of the tables nearby, there's a female gnome, like an older female gnome, who's sitting there, and she has, like, probably, like, 6 or 7 empty glasses of wine on her table. She's eyeing Arkmir. Like, she's staring at Arkmir
Yeah.
very obviously.
Okay.
Wants the D.
Give her that boy D.
All right, then I guess has the elf left? Like, has he gone, or is he
Um,
still standing with us?
I think he's probably still there at the moment.
Okay. I think actually we just spotted one of the people we were looking for, so we probably don't need a table. We'll probably just go over and join them.
And as he sees Butch wave at you, his attitude almost immediately completely changes. So you're with that lot.
Oh no.
Very well. And he, like, turns around and kind of walks out the door. Suddenly his opinion of you has clearly shifted.
Doesn't bother me. So I guess as we start making our way over, then I'll just kind of lean over to Arkmir and just I don't know where it is like relative to us, but kind of like the
You
just
would be walking past the table. It's kind of off to the, like, right side as you're walking
Mhm.
towards the bar to meet Butch. And Butch
Okay.
is kind of walking towards you. He's walking towards the spiral staircase that's to your right.
Okay. Then I'll just kind of mutter to him the table there on the right. The gnome there seems to be giving you a bit of a look. Don't look at them though. Don't want to draw attention. But just wanted to let you know that there may be eyes on you.
Wouldn't be the first time.
There's
Hell yeah.
quite a few empty glasses at the table, so perhaps just a bit of a drunken stupor. Anyways, I guess wanted to let you know just in case. Don't know if you know the person.
Probably don't, but sounds like an opportunity.
Butch kind of walks up to you.
Mm.
Hey, Alistair said you'd be swinging by. We've got a couple of tables upstairs. A few of the boys are busy, but I'm sure Geraldo wouldn't mind speaking with you all. Um, yeah, as thanks for helping get Cletus and me out of some trouble.
Does he go by a different name? Geraldo?
Possibly. I don't know.
Hmm. They didn't seem to know that name when we were trying to get in.
Oh, yeah, Geraldo's he's a bit of a showman. He probably gave them a different name, to be honest.
Oh shit.
Helpful.
Mm-mm.
Okay then.
Is he like, you mind helping me with some of these? Like, holds up. I'm just kidding. I'm the strong one. And he, like, just starts making his
I'm
way
the
towards.
strong one. I'm not nervous.
Oh no, it's happening.
It's happening in Kanto.
He starts making his way to the spiral staircase and, like, starts going up the stairs. As you all, like, are making your way over, Arkmir, do you like want to take a look at the woman who's sitting there, like sneak a view or sneak a peek, or
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna turn it over and just
Are you trying to be sneaky about it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Just
Then
like a
make
little
a
over my
stealth check.
shoulder. 24.
That's twice you've rolled 24.
Yes, but stealth is yeah. My stealth is broken.
As you turn and you glance at her, you don't notice anything familiar about her. You don't recognize her at all. You hear a whisper in your mind. A voice that just says, friendly.
Friendly? Is that what I heard?
Yes. Friendly.
No, you heard
But friendly.
That's not spoopy.
Help.
Jeez.
Oh God.
Why you gotta do this right before bedtime?
You
And
feel
I
like a
think
sudden tug that, like, as you're turning away, like, it almost, like, catches you a little as if your body is involuntarily, like, turning you towards her. Just for a brief moment.
oh man.
Hmm.
I'm going to cast. Sorry, I just need to see if I can use this on any person.
just gonna cast inflict wounds on her.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast the psychic whispers
Oh shit.
on this person. I'm also still gonna have also gonna tether myself to Calthier here. I'll expend psychic die and
You
roll
reach within yourself and you expand your mind for a moment, and as you're doing that, you feel like this strange pressure from inside of you that hasn't been there the last few times that you've opened your mind to speak to your companions. There's almost like a strange. It feels different as you open your mind to connect to hers.
Say hello.
Oh, that's unexpected. Perhaps it's the liquor speaking. Hello, handsome.
She does want that D.
You weren't wrong about an opportunity.
Hmm.
You often get into people's heads like that.
When the
There's an
opportunity presents itself. How
Does Lady
may I?
Does Lady Garnett know that you're here?
Mm, she might. She may.
Well, you're certainly not dressed appropriately for your rank and station.
You'll have to forgive me. This this city has thrown a lot at me, and yes, sometimes you just have to roll with what you have.
What the heck?
Come have a chat. In person, none of this. Ow, my head was already hurting. I'm sure she would invite you to her manor if you cared to swing by.
And where may that be?
Oh, I'm not obliged to tell you the address. If she wants to speak with you, she'll reach out herself.
Well, tell her she's more than welcome to.
Though I dare say, for a person of your ilk, an invitation will probably come. sooner rather than later.
And how about yourself? What are you looking for tonight?
There it is.
I'm just keeping an eye out for the Sons of Stygia.
What?
Sorry, just player talk. Sons of what?
Sons of
Stygia?
Stygia.
Digia.
Yeah, it's the material you get in the maw.
It,
Alright.
so
Well,
Arkmir's the
if-
jailer.
well, if anything changes, you know where to reach me. And I'm just gonna continue making my way upstairs.
I know it doesn't work that way, but the whole time this was happening, I was envisioning like Calthier like being like that third person listening in on a phone call, like like they don't know that he's there listening.
Yeah, you just hear like
she just whispers back to you. May the Prince of Betrayal watch your path.
So Arkmir's the Prince of Betrayal. Got it.
what the
Now, after this, do I notice anyone else like in this area that looks peculiar because of that message, friendly and help? Also, I don't know if dark vision helps me here, but
I mean, it helps you see in dim light, like a little
Yeah.
bit clearer. Make a perception check.
damn it. Here, one second. Oops. It's a 16 or an 18 to make it successful.
You do notice that back in the corner behind her table, almost watching over her table, there's a figure that's standing shrouded in the shadows that you can barely make out. That just seems to be like leaning up against the wall with like their arms crossed. But they're giving the table like a bit of a wide berth. They're just keeping an eye on the table, and then as they see you kind of like turn, and they were also keeping an eye on you. Um, as you turn, and as that last whisper kind of fell upon you, you felt the cold chill sensation almost like run down like your spine, like your hair like on the back of your neck rising up a little bit.
Ark or Calthier, do you notice that fellow back there?
You all have
And-
started to make your way up the stairs, so you're pretty much
Yeah,
on the
I would-
balcony at this point.
Oh, they're already up there.
Oh.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm just
I
gonna
thought you were behind me.
gonna communicate just through heads here, but seems like there's someone that we may want to watch out for down here.
Do
As
I
you look down
notice?
from like the balcony, you kind of walk over and look down. You notice a lot of noise coming from a table towards your left as you climb up to the top of the spiral staircase. There's a rowdy crowd up here on the balcony. But as you looking for Arkmir, kind of walk over to the balcony and look down. With your like night vision in view, you can see like there is a figure clearly just standing a little bit away from the table, just like leaning against the wall, just like seems to be keeping an eye out. But they're dressed in like black robes.
Okay, I was gonna ask if they had like a recognizable attire in any way, but it seems like
Very,
well.
very nondescript.
All black, everything. Not
All black everything. Correct.
I see. I see. I think the person you're referring to. Are they dangerous?
not sure. Just something. They just don't seem right to me. That's someone to look out for. I'll make my way up the stairs.
You make your way up the stairs towards this much noisier region of the bar. As you turn around and look, you can see that Butch has kind of walked over with this like large platter of beers and puts them down on a table. Surrounding the table, there's just a bunch of like rowdy folks. You recognize Cletus. You recognize a couple of other like there's one woman who's kind of just taking off these like huge like spears that are just stuck in the ground next to her, essentially. There's a large like almost, it's strange, he looks like he's dressed in motley, almost like a jester of sorts.
Interesting.
He seems to be like fairly rotund fellow, like a bit of a almost an ogre, very very big. As your eyes fall upon another figure who's wearing a lopsided like crimson top hat and a three-piece suede crimson suit. Geraldo, would you like to introduce yourself? What do they see?
What?
Hello.
What?
Hello. Yeah, so immediately visible to you all is this tall, lanky male elf, sharp, well-cut, three-piece velour suit with a
What?
matching top hat in bright red.
So you're not
Bright
Alistair
red velour.
currently, like the overlay says.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Sadly.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, suit jacket, vest, top hat, all in this bright red shade of like crushed velvet kind of look. Black band around the base of the top hat happens to match with a pair of black trousers and boots as well. He's got green eyes, some strawberry blonde hair that looks very youthful, despite the fact that his face looks a little older. You may suspect that it might not be naturally that vibrant a shade. On the pinky of one of his, I guess on his right hand is a shiny ring, and his left hand, as his eyes kind of fall upon you, is kind of twirling a cane, adding a bit of a sense of kind of fanfare to everything that you're seeing about you. So yeah, he looks over, sees other
You
people.
look over and you
Cletus.
recognize some of the people that Butch and Cletus had kind of told you about as being the group that helped them out in their time of need.
All right, and I kind of like rap the cane against the floor and say, "Friends, we have guests. Welcome."
Hey!
Is this a soiree?
It sure is, now that you're here.
Oh, you.
Come in. Any friend of Alistair's a friend of ours.
Where is Alistair?
Alistair! Hey! And they're all very, very drunk already. And they're just like lifting up their mugs and cheering to pretty much everything that you say at this point.
So Alice, there's no like, don't see
Not here.
the
You
half
do
orc
not see Alistair anymore.
mustachioed man. All right.
Now, Alistair told us we were to expect you to show up for the big gig, but y'all turned up a little late now, didn't you?
We missed it?
I'm afraid you did, but we're gonna be around for a while still, so depending on what y'all's get up to, it probably won't be a problem to accommodate another performance some other evening.
Could you give us a little, like, just a little taste of what we can expect?
Please, Butch, y'all didn't treat them to anything to give them a little taste of what they would come see if they came to sophistication?
They didn't.
Nah, Alistair was kind of in a rush to get us out of there, to be honest. Here, little lady,
Yeah.
you want a drink? And he like holds up like a beer.
Yes, please.
Take that mug
Okay. Uh-huh.
and go stand all the way over there. And he points to the wall over there. Trust me, it'll be worth it.
Okay. And then
As you turn around and you're walking away, all of
I'm
a sudden,
running away. I'm really excited. I'm like,
all of a sudden, before you even get there, like a dagger just above your head, like right where you would have been standing, just like sinks into the wood, and just like rattles a little bit.
and I turn back. That was awesome. Was that
But
that was
you can see that Cletus, one of like, he's like thrown a dagger and he's like pulling another one out of his arm. Butch looks to him and is like, "You ain't had enough ale yet. Come on, that was way too fast. You need to drink some more. We need to have a good night here tonight." And Cletus is like,
Oh
"I'm
shit.
still getting used to these blades. They're not the ones I'm used to. They're okay, but I'd rather not try them out when I'm drunk." And he throws another one, and this one just goes right over your shoulder and sticks into like the wall behind you. A voice from downstairs comes, "Stop damaging the wall," from behind the bar. And it's just like
Okay, try it again, and I'm gonna
Pish
do like a
posh
weird pose.
location.
Cletus, try now.
Why did we pick this fancy ass stuck up establishment to perform at anyway, Geraldo?
Cletus.
We just go where the
Just
money
like
goes,
looks up
fellas.
and like over his shoulder, like flicks it and like flies over, like almost like spiraling in the air, end over end, and sinks over your other shoulder.
Hey, do it so that you can make like an outline on the wall of me. Like, you know, when people die and they have like the outline of the people? Do that.
I don't think I have enough daggers for that, ma'am.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Geraldo.
Yeah, we just go where the money goes, fellas. It's nothing particular about picking who pays us
Did
money.
we at least get
Simply-
paid well for this gig?
Of course we did. Now that you two showed up, we had to give some of those funds over to this lot here.
Yeah, I mean, without us and without Alistair, I mean, what, we would have just had stilts and a clown? No way that would have gone well at this venue. No offense, Marianne. I mean, I appreciate your ability to perform the burlesque on those sticks.
Hold
Like,
up.
stilts, not sticks. They're not spears. They're stilts. This is an art.
Does that mean
Okay.
Alistair was a clown?
Geraldo.
No, though he does have his way about him that can come across a little funny at times. He's, of course, referring to our friend over there in the motley.
Just like sticks out his like biceps. It's like this massive ogre that's just like got this wide, cheerful grin, and his face is like half painted like white and red. It's missing like 2 teeth up front. It's hilarious, really.
Excuse me, Geraldo. Where is
Yes.
Alistair? He was the one who told us to come here.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He kind of pats his chest, and you see him reach inside of his shirt pocket or jacket side pocket and pull out a folded up letter. Alistair's indisposed and had to go take care of a few loose ends, but he did ask that I pass this on to you.
He's all right then?
As far as I know. And I will copy paste.
This, yeah, you like unravel it, and there's just like writing inside of it.
As they're doing this, Astra is now getting like a couple potatoes that she saved for herself, and then be like, "Okay, Cletus, ready? 1, 2, 3," and I throw it
So
in the air.
it's weird. You reach behind yourself to like get your backpack, and you can't see it because you're in your like dress disguise self. So it's just like this weird like mishmash of like your entire body kind of shifts as you pull the backpack out in front. It's really, really like eldritchy and weird. And Cletus is like looking at you and is like, "I think I might have had too much to drink, Butch." And Butch is like, "Nah, you haven't had enough. Here, have another one. Hey."
Did you get my DM, Derek?
Oh.
Oh.
You can just read the letter out if you want
Okay,
to.
yeah.
In
I'll
your Alistair voice.
yeah. It's a different southern accent. It's so hard.
You can do it.
Completely different art.
Channel.
New friends. I hope the surprise had its intended effect. I apologize for the subterfuge employed when we met, but help me find my drunk, gambling juggler and strongman would not convey the sense of urgency the situation deserved. Either way, I have a hunch you may not think we're just ordinary circus performers anyway, now that we've scrapped together. Now, Mr. Calthier likes to ask a lot of questions, so I figure I may as well cut them off, seeing as he's eyeing me and the boys up following Galleron's ugly mug showing up. Truth is, that man comes from a very dangerous group of individuals, and I can't have him reporting back to his superiors about a group of Riovizian misfits that can hold their own in a fight. With that in mind, I do hope you can excuse missing out on my act. That little maggot seemed like he was a slippery one, and I had to move quick. I'll try and regroup with you all in a few days once we've wrapped up that loose end and put a bow on it. Sincerely, Alistair Gold. P.S. Geralda should have something of mine for you. I don't have much use for it anymore on account of it making my act look incredibly boring.
What is it? Now switch to Geraldo and tell us what it is.
So I guess, yeah, that's we all heard it was a magical letter that Alistair. We just heard his voice, so we all
Like a
caught that.
howler.
Or just
Yeah.
Just yelled at everybody.
Yeah, so oh yeah, oh that's right, that's right. Here, I believe this is what he was intended to hand over.
It's like a
And
small
you-
velvet bag almost that is holding it.
Yeah,
A bag of
Like a
Velvet
small
bag?
velvet bag that's like this big. It's like a cylindrical device, like a thick cylindrical device that's in it.
Oh no, where did I put that link?
Do any of us recognize what that cylindrical device is?
As you like, are you the one who's looking at it?
Oh no, presume it's Calthier. I thought you were just saying we saw the device.
You like pull open the like drawstrings around the velvet bag and pull it out, and it looks like a strange cylindrical tube of sorts. It's got like two lenses on
Oh.
opposite ends of it.
The sight.
You look down it, and it appears like it looks like a binocular or a telescope of sorts. You can tell
Ooh.
that there's like almost like two magical, like not magical, but like two little things that it this is meant to attach onto something. You gather.
Time it's gun.
Scope.
I take a look at it and
You look at it
Just
from the other end, and everything looks much smaller.
it makes no sense. Yeah, it appears to be some sort of magnifying device. Ogman.
Geraldo's probably seen and knows what this is if he wants to explain it to them.
Yeah, if he's giving you his farsight scope, he must trust y'all a whole lot.
Wait, is that Alistair or is that? Wait, who's who now?
No,
That's
Geraldo.
Although
That's
Alistair isn't
Geraldo, I'm
there.
sorry.
Alistair's not there.
I'm just teasing you.
How come you don't know how to distinguish the truth, Maxim? How dare you?
I guess this is a personal item of value to him that he left for us.
Yeah, that would have been something he was using back in a couple lifetimes ago, at least.
Hmm.
I'm assuming one of you knows how to use a gun.
Otherwise,
we
it would have been a
definitely
bit of a
do.
bit of a cruel trick from Alistair to give them that. None of them
Good luck.
Just looking across the three of you, like,
The wrong people came on
No,
this trip.
unfortunately, we don't. Well, I'm not actually. Arkmir and Astra, I shouldn't speak on your behalf. I personally don't know how they function. Though I know a couple of our other friends are quite versed.
I think one of our friends could find this useful.
okay, yes, your friends. Well, if I could borrow that for just a second, kind of reach
Mine?
out.
I'm just kidding. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get back to your friends, you'll want to attach it. Tell them to attach it thusly, and you see him kind of like pull up the cane as if it were a gun. Put the
It's a
scope
cane
on
gun,
top.
isn't it?
It is not. But
Ah,
do you see what's going on here?
yes.
Perfect. Take it back off, hand it back over to you. See, unfortunately, we're not going to know where Alistair got off to specifically until he turns back up.
Um. Well, I mean, he found us before, so if he wanted to again, I'm sure he could. Uh, I think. I mean, Akmir, do you want to hold on to this? You seem to like holding on to things we find.
I definitely do not mind.
Now, in his letter, he mentions this Galeran fella.
Yes.
He didn't
Are you
happen to
familiar?
notice your face. Any of your faces?
Uh, it's very possible that he did. Um, I think as much as we saw his face, he probably saw ours.
All right. Be very careful for the next while. Uh, you seem like the perceptive type. Keep an eye over your shoulder until Alistair returns.
Sorry, who is he? Who is he talking about?
Galerin?
The
Oh,
blonde-haired
Geller.
slant gun shooter that showed up at
Yeah.
the warehouse.
Oh, right. The guy with the stupid hair.
I take it he has a habit of making enemies and holding grudges.
Well, not Butch. Alistair was in a bit of a rush to get out, but he did mention that Galerin was adorned in some items that pointed out that he might be a member of the Midnight Corps.
Yep.
Who exactly are the Midnight Corps?
Are y'all familiar with RealViz? It's to the north.
I've heard of North.
No.
It is to the north,
Mm.
a bit
I
northwest.
I think I heard Alistair mention it, but I don't. There was no explanation.
I just mentioned it in passing to Timon.
Well, there's the RealVizian Rexate is known for its military, the Alabaster Guard, and the Midnight Corps is a, an elite but troubled unit of that military. Extremely dangerous, and I guess you saw that for yourselves. The
So,
fact that a member of the Midnight Gods here is
Means it's high time for us to head out of here. What do you think? Butch was the one who was speaking.
yeah, that's exactly right. I think Alice had mentioned we'd also found a cylinder operator in the rescue.
uh, there was an acquaintance of ours who has operated previously.
All right, well, I'd appreciate it a lot if you'd put me in touch with the man. He could stand to make quite a bit of coin if we were able to get out of here on a timely basis.
Akmir, what was his name again?
Sorry, who?
Niptar.
No, I know
Nip-
that's his name, but I'm giving you a look when I say that. I like turn around to like so my back is to Geraldo, and when I say that, and just kind of like give you a look, like kind of like I don't you might know how to what's the best way to handle this situation. So I just say, what was his name again? Because he was asking who the
I
cylinder operator was.
I actually don't think he mentioned his name. He
Yeah,
was
he did. It
in a
was.
hurry to get out. Do you say that?
Butch just like looks over. Yeah, it was that Nipnor fella. We were playing cards with him, remember?
Right. Nipna.
Yeah.
Ah, old Nippy.
Hmm.
You know where he got off to?
He has a house
he all
in
right?
Ward 4.
Maybe we'll ask around in Ward 4. Is that where's our next act taking us, boss?
Let me check my papers here.
You know
TM.
me. Pick a ward. Pick a ward. Any ward.
Oh, you know
Pick
what?
a number between 1 and 8.
I'm rolling a d8.
11.
Nice.
Ward
Already
5.
rolling it?
Word
Ooh.
5.
Ward 5. The Ledgeview Restaurant.
Should I add your names to the RSVP list?
It's not for a few days, but
Mm.
yeah, it would be at the Ledgeview Restaurant in Ward 5.
Yes,
Doesn't hurt to
please.
prep.
By
You would
the
have
way,
to
what
like gather all of your stuff and then cart it over and then set it up and then
what's your show's name?
Oh, my mistake. Allow me to introduce Magnifico's Menagerie.
Ooh.
And then a gesture to the group of people drinking beers.
Cletus is like almost beginning to pass out a little bit. Butch like raises up his beer. The ogre just like waves at you nicely. Marianne is still just sitting in a huff with her legs crossed.
If you don't mind me asking, why is Alistair taking it into his own hands for this midnight core, and the rest of you don't seem to be involved if he's part of this Magnifico menagerie?
It's a little more
Menagerie.
personal. Thank you. There's in fact an accent on the E at the end.
Oh,
It's
there
not
actually is.
I
I thought you
R-I-E.
that was
There
part of
is.
I thought you were doing an accent that added that pronunciation. Okay, menagerie.
It's a little more personal for Alistair than the rest of us, though I wouldn't say we don't have some stake in that game. It's just with what we're up to and who we are, it's a little safer to play it with smaller numbers.
No further questions.
Do all of
Exit
you
dialogue tree.
you like grab a drink and sit
Cross-examination,
down
man.
to like you like grab a drink, sit down, have a few beers with them. What are you guys doing for the rest of the night? It's almost like 1 a.m. at this point. Well past bedtime.
How long have we been here for?
Probably like half an hour, roughly.
Okay, the guards haven't come in, then I.
No.
Wait.
Hmm.
They have not.
I'm still like playing with Cletus. like doing like the goalpost thing to see if he can like get the thing through the goalpost.
I think Cletus is just passing out.
For
Like, come on,
like the
wake up.
first 3 daggers that he throws, he's on point, but he's starting to look a little bit more like woozy in some ways.
That's when
One
I
of them
switch
comes
to
dangerously close to like your thumbs.
that's when I switch to fruit or food that I find in there somewhere. If there's like apples, then I'm gonna set up an apple for him to aim at.
He seems to be getting better with them, actually. Now that he's not worried about hurting someone, he is doing a few more flourishes, just hitting most of these like on the ball, like just.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a beer, go down beside Cletus, and start try my hand at just taking a dagger. I'm like, let me give this a shot. And
I'm juggling the apples.
oh no.
As,
Oh, this is gonna
roll
go
a
bad.
roll a d20 to throw, and as you reach down, like to grab your dagger, instead a psychic dagger manifests on its own almost.
Mm.
Oh no. Is it just a d20?
Just a d20, but yeah.
15.
Okay. So the dagger goes end over end, and it's strange. But as you grabbed it, you felt like a chill, like a cold sensation in your hand, like freezing cold. And it makes you like you throw it, and your dagger kind of like goes end over end, and it sinks into the fruit, and the fruit almost like pins against the wall, and is just frozen solid,
What?
like where the dagger was. And the dagger itself just vanishes, but the fruit is like instead of falling apart, it's almost like a frozen piece of fruit that's just stuck into the wall.
The dagger is gone?
Well, the dagger, he threw his like psychic dagger.
I try to take a bite of the frozen apple.
It's very cold and very frozen.
Ah, brain freeze.
That's new to me, seeing that.
Yes, yes, it
Okay.
is.
Jeez.
While they're doing that, I would have just kind of like gone over to the balcony and kind of like leaned on it, and I'm just kind of watching what else is happening. First thing I look for is
Mhm.
if that gnome and that other individual are still here.
The gnome is still sitting there. In fact, she has another like goblet of wine that's been brought to her, and she's just sipping at it. She is looking up in the direction of the balcony, essentially. The other figure behind her is no longer there.
And I'll do just a scan around to see if I spot them anywhere, kind of like looking towards the edges, see if they've
Make
just moved.
make a perception check.
Dirty 20.
You do spot a figure that matches the description, kind of standing in the corner, like far away from where you all are, kind of like slouching in the corner, almost like that they sneaked up. They're
So
just like
they
keeping an
came
eye
up
on this.
to our level.
Yep, they're
Okay,
just leaning in the corner now, on this level.
got it.
They noticed you, like they look back at you,
I just
narrow their eyes, and you can see like the eyes between like so they've got a mask on
Mhm.
and a like black hood.
Yeah.
They narrow their eyes.
Well, if I know that they've clearly acknowledged me, then I'm just gonna nod my head, and not do anything right now. But I'm gonna basically try to see if I can keep them like in sight, not directly staring at them, but I know where they are now, so I'll just try to keep them in my peripheral. And I've got pretty high passive perception, so
Yep.
theoretically I'll see if
They're
I
not
can
doing
access them.
anything. They're mostly
I'm
just
not
leaning
yet.
in the corner, just keeping
I'm
an
not
eye
gonna make a
on
bust or anything right
everyone.
now.
They're just keeping an eye on the situation.
Mm, Um, yeah. Other than that, I won't do anything for a little bit here. But I'm also not gonna let hours pass. I'm not just gonna stand here
Yep.
for 3 hours.
You take like a few sips and you finish your drink. The menagerie crew seems like they're well into their drinks and they're just gonna hang out here probably for the night. They have like a wagon outside that they're probably gonna sleep in. To be honest.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna go ask Geraldo. Uh, so our previous place of stay is a little bit of a hike from here. Um, where are you all staying for the evening? Is there a place around here that uh maybe could accommodate a few more?
Like the backyard essentially of this establishment, which is almost like it's like a fairly good like campground size place. Is where you guys have set up your wagon and you're kind of camped out over there.
Well,
Like a room for a bonfire, but nobody's lighting it out there. So,
no one's making use of Alice's tent tonight, by my estimation. More than welcome to take it,
Sounds
if
like
you
a
don't
slumber
mind sleeping
party.
outdoors.
I've done it before. Well, not sleep, but I've rested outdoors. Um,
Huh.
um, well, I'll see if what the others are thinking, but thanks for the offer. Uh, and I'll just go over to Arkmir and Astra and just say, hey, I'm not sure what you all are thinking for bedding down for the evening. By no means is there any rush, but just wanted to make sure it's something of thought. I don't really think we like that you'd want to walk back to um, Spark House right now unless I mean we could head out. It's just a bit of a hike, several hours I believe it took us to get here. Um, so Geraldo was saying um, there is an option of camping with their crew out back. They have a wagon and uh, area set up. Um, Alistair's tent is available for those who uh, maybe want to get some uh, private shut eye.
Sounds good
Yeah.
to me. Unless, you guys found any like ladies tonight that you wanna,
There was
shack
one
up with,
staring at Arkmir. Um,
Ooh.
We'll see where that goes. But yeah, it seems like we're in good company. I'd welcome staying with Geraldo and his mates.
yeah, that's fine with me. We can potentially head out at a good time tomorrow and meet back up with the others. Uh,
I wonder if we could send them a message and tell them to meet us at the Curious Curiosities of Curious Klankos. Klanko's collection of curiosities and something else is what I wrote down.
Have that somewhere. Clanko's
Rafe-
curious collections of curiosities
Rafe,
and
you're mute.
contraptions.
Yeah, Gerardo, you actually surprisingly do have something that, as she says that, could help with that. There's a small pouch of a magic item that you had received as a present of sorts for one of your earlier gigs. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
An
Why can I
iPhone.
not find it? No, it's not an iPhone. Actually, why can I not find?
I believe
I
it's
can never
called a
find.
walkie-talkie.
Yeah. What are they
I
walkie
can never
talkie?
find the page that I need when I need it. Fuck. The worst.
Walking and talking.
A real cup with 2 cups with a really long string.
Okay, I'm just gonna look up the actual file because fuck the.
Suspense is killing me, Rafe.
You'd purchased a small like folio, or like you'd received a small like folio. Inside it contained like 3 pieces of card, essentially. And each of the cards on the back of it said, one second.
Yeah.
Klankos conversing cards. It's just stamped in like a circular like watermark on the back of each of these. Um, you have used these in prior occasions to send messages to Alistair mostly. Um, you know that if you write upon these cards and you fold them up into little paper birds and fly them off, they will find the destination and deliver the message to
What?
the person.
That's so cool.
The actual
Disaster,
item that you're looking for is called a paper bird in D&D Beyond, and they are
Disaster, looks
expensive.
like you may be looking to make some form of long distance call.
Perhaps is that an option?
Yeah, and rip a piece of the paper out. This is a paperbird calling card. Feel
On
free
the
to
back of
write a
it, around
message.
there's like big gear-shaped, like almost watermark flesh embossed into the paper. It just says "Glencoe's conversing cards" in like a ring around it. It looks otherwise like a plain piece of paper.
I think it would take time for a mail courier to get this over there. I don't think it would serve much purpose.
But once you've written your message, just fold it up and it'll take care of itself.
You need to fold it up and speak a creature's name.
That.
And you're letting us use this?
Of course, if any friend of Alice is a friend of mine.
What a guy.
You'll just dock it off of Alistair's next stipend.
And I guess I'll just hand it to Astra. You wanted to send a note?
Yes. Yes. And then are you gonna let me figure out how to get like I guess like a pen, like an ink pen?
I'm assuming the box that Gerardo has kept it in has a pen or a quill as
Okay.
well attached to it, like with it.
Quill, yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to write, Dear the Big One and Timond, meet us at Klenko's Curiosities of Curious
You need to count the
Curiosities.
words. You need to count the words. You
Wait, how
need to
many
make
do I
it 50
get?
words or less.
50. Okay.
As soon as you write the 50th word, the paper's
Tomorrow
gonna fall down.
morning.
How is it not like the limit of a tweet?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a paper
Be
bird.
smart. That would be smart. Yeah.
Tomorrow
Crossover
morning.
marketing.
In Ward the
No,
1. Never mind. They know that part. They know that part. They know it's in Ward 1. Okay, let me start over. Dear the Big One and Timond, meet us at Klenko's collection of curiosities and something else tomorrow morning. We saw it. It looks awesome. There's bright lights. A gnome was flirting with Arkmir. And then I draw a little smiley face.
I was
See
still
you then.
counting and then I dropped. Yeah, that's about 39 letters or 37 letters, something like that. That's
Yes.
enough.
I'm just kidding.
As you like write it, you finish. It magically folds. You need to speak a creature's name as you're holding it.
Just one.
Oh no.
Diamond.
The bird immediately like folds up into a small like paper bird. Like looks at you, like pecks down once into your hand, and then like
Aw.
just flies off.
Whoa.
Flies down from the balcony and out through one of the windows of the restaurant.
Let's send the another one.
Gerardo only gave you one piece of paper.
Oh.
Another.
So you all continue to drink for a little while until eventually the rest of the crew start making their way out the back door of the establishment, past the stage, go through a few like back hallways, past the kitchen, out into the little courtyard outside. As you're walking, you, Calclear, notice that the gnome is still sitting at the table. She's one of the few patrons who's still there, and she's
Mm.
eyeing you all and gives like a short wave as you head out into the back.
I don't wave, but I look over at Arkmir.
Yeah, you see me wink at her.
Oh yeah.
You make your way out into the open air sky, and it's beautiful here. You're surrounded by trees. It's fairly dim light. There's moonlight bathing down upon this like courtyard out here. You can see a wagon. You can see a few tents that have been set up. Very cheerful. Uh, Gerardo kind of points you towards one of the tents that's been kind of looking a little bit emptier and a little bit less well cared for. That would be Alistair's. If one of you wants to sleep in there, or probably a couple of you or one of you can sleep out here.
Well, by all means, Astra or Arkmir, feel free.
I'm on sleeping out here. I assume there's a fire going on.
There isn't. They were
Oh.
inside for the majority of this, so there's like what looks like a fire pit from previous nights, but for tonight they were all partying inside. So
Oh, okay. Well, I'm fine with just
they
like
mostly just came out here to go to sleep.
just sleeping outside if there's just room for one in the tent.
Oh, I don't have to take the tent.
No one uses the tent.
Feel free. I won't need it.
Okay, and then
Hmm.
dive headfirst into the tent.
What does she see inside of Alistair's tent?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so entering his tent.
Don't use a glow light.
I shine a blue light.
Bottle of lotion and some Kleenex off to the side. No, so I guess, yeah, a bedroll with a pillow at the end of it. There's a chest off in the corner, and I guess beside that is kind of a traveling folding kind of table. Across the top of it, you'll see it's what would have been coppers. Um, they have holes in them that look like something pierced them, and some books on there as well, alongside a little little lantern that would be used for potentially reading.
If I skim the books, are there anything that sparks my interest?
Make an investigation check.
Okay. Ooh, 23.
Ooh. It mostly just seems to be like lines, like stage lines they've been kind of practicing and writing down, like almost like a script of sorts. Um, I don't know if you have any, Alistair, like things that you would have said on stage while performing your act.
Um, no lines specifically ready, but you'd notice it's largely like fables and like I guess, yeah, stories from several different regions, but it seems to mostly focus on like the Rovisian region.
Ooh.
As you're looking at it, you do notice almost like something peeking out from underneath like the bedroll.
The dirty magazine, isn't it?
It's just like near where the foot of his like bedroll would be.
I go over and I take it.
As you like lift up the bedroll, you can look underneath and you can see almost like a little bit of like ground has been disturbed and is like dug almost like a small area here to seemingly hide something. But with your investigation check, you rolled high enough to find it. It's like a small chest of sorts.
Take it out. Try to open it.
You like pull it open. Inside, you see like a battered, bruised, rusted set of like a chain shirt almost. It looks like it's in really bad condition.
Like
Looks,
chainmail?
yeah, kind of like a chain shirt, just like the upper half of chainmail.
Mm-hmm.
It's in really, really bad shape. It has like several holes in it. And underneath it, there's like another like similarly rusted. It's almost like it's useless as a weapon of any sort, but it's more like a keepsake, short sword. That's just underneath it.
Hmm.
The hilt of the short sword seems to have like a small like what used to probably be blue but now has become like dulled gem on it.
I just bring it to the light, have a look at it, just kind of out of curiosity.
The blade itself is very rusted, not in good shape.
Okay.
But the hilt probably seems like it could be salvaged potentially. The blue jewel on it could potentially be salvaged.
I'm not gonna steal from him though, so I'm gonna put it back, fold up the chainmail shirt if I can, and then just kind of tuck it away.
That Arkmir didn't take the tent.
Yeah.
You know what would happen.
But I am still curious because there's another trunk. I am still curious. I would just want to just have a little peek see and see what's in there.
That one just contains clothes, like different suits of clothes.
I don't want to take his stuff, but I'll violate his privacy.
Yeah.
They all seem very flamboyant and showy, like different colors, like a purple dress shirt and a yellow dress shirt and a red dress shirt and a green dress shirt.
Nice.
And then I'm just gonna spend the rest just as I'm falling asleep, I'm just gonna flip through and read the things until I fall asleep.
Includes a lot of like, as you're reading through the stories, a lot of them are stories of like life at sea. There's a lot of stories about mermaids and sirens, like fables about like creatures of the ocean. You find like a sea shanty that's like written on like one of some of the pages, and just like random different notes that he's kind of taken over the years of things to incorporate into his act.
Are there any drawings?
I don't know. Well, sure.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
As you all come to rest, is there anything Kaltir and Arkmir? Is there anything you guys want to do outside before you pack up for the night? Begin your long rest?
I'm gonna just walk over to Calthea here and just to remind, like, I think I'm gonna hand this back to you to watch over, and it's kind of like put my hand, kind of straighten it over for a second as I'm saying that, and then as I'm moving away, I'm just giving you a sleight of hand to
Yep, make
to
a
slip
sleight of
that in.
hand check.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. 23.
You're able to kind of slip it, and you're fairly confident that anybody who would have been looking would not have noticed.
I didn't even notice. I'm just like, oh, hello. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
have a good evening.
You too.
As you all begin to turn in for the night, Kelthir, you notice that around the corner of the building, just out of view, there's a black clothed figure that's just leaning against the side, just keeping an eye on you all as you turn in to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good spot to end the session.
Before we end,
Yes.
I just want to paint a picture here that in the middle of the night, a paper bird is going to arrive on top of Taimon's bare ass as he's sleeping face down with no trousers.
Just like pecking.
Pecking.
So it turns back into just a sheet of paper when it gets near you. So it'll just turn back into a paper and just rest on
Just
top of
cover
your.
up his butt.
It might
Yeah.
it might blow
What?
off.
But yes.
All right, now we can end.
Alright.
He's a
That was a good
snore farter.
session, guys. It was very split between the two halves of the party, but it was still a lot of fun.
I promise I won't go watch the section that we deafened for.
Right.
I definitely am not going to.
I mean, we still have to watch Astra's big
I know.
dream or
I still
whatever.
haven't
Yeah,
watched.
she
I
had
don't
a
know what
part
it
too.
is.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I still don't think you guys should watch it yet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, guys. Well, it was a good session. Take it easy. See you next
Mm.
time in the alcove.
Hey.
Bye.